Show, Utah's biggest sports talk show. When you're ready to talk sports, all you have to do is find The Monty Show. Streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. Now it's time for the best sports talk in Utah, The Monty Show.
Hey, happy Monday to you. It is March 6th, 2023. Boy, what a day in sports we got for you today. Coming up in about an hour and 15 minutes, Brian Lawlor, the president at Scripps Sports, will join us. Big get on the show today. You know, we always tell you we only do the biggest names in sports here on the Monty Show. Right now, Scripps is such an important player in TV streaming and media rights deals, and the future of media rights deals in baseball and football and basketball. Brian is a perfect guy to have on right now in the world of sports. 4:15, he'll join us an hour and 15 minutes from now. We have got a ton to get to on the show, but as always, we tell you we're presented by The Advocates. TheAdvocates.com. Tell you what, guys, if you've been in an accident, we saw all the accidents on the roadways. Jake, did you see that yesterday or Sunday alone, I believe it was, 186 accidents in the first 10 hours of Sunday.
Bro, come on.
On the freeways. Come on, man. Yes, it was snowing. If you're one of those people that got into an accident, if somebody was driving too fast, if they were driving distracted on their phone, you didn't deserve to be in that accident, but you do deserve an advocate. Get to theadvocates.com right now. The best injuries in the best injury attorneys in the business are the Advocates. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. I want to start with Gonzaga in the Big 12 because I know that's what a lot of people are getting. Why?
You said it.
Why start trouble?
You said it. You said Gonzaga, not me.
No, I said Gonzaga.
No, you didn't.
We will start with Gonzaga and the Big 12 right out of the gate. And I say that because obviously you guys have heard us talking about it over the last week or so, that Gonzaga's really been this central figure in a lot of these conversations about Pac-12 and Big 12 expansion. We reported it on the show Friday. We were able to confirm it over the weekend that Gonzaga has been verbally offered a spot in the Big 12. And we wanted to talk about what that means because a lot of people are like, well, you have to do paperwork. Well, obviously you have to do paperwork. But in these day and ages, there's not a one right way or one exact plan to add teams. And the way that we know that the Big 12 is going about adding teams to the conference these days is they are using relationships. And it is one of the things that separates the Big 12 from the Pac-12. And that is that Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, has a vast network of relationships. And if he does not, he is leveraging relationships in the conference. And as it was told to us, Gonzaga basketball has been a point of conversation in the Big 12 for several years. The difference now being that a lot of people feel like the Pac-12 is teetering on this ledge of insolvency, if you will, because they're not going to get the money that's required to be a major player in college sports. Where Gonzaga comes into this, we were told Friday and again over the weekend that Brett Yormark has used his network of relationships to reach out to Gonzaga, to have conversations with Gonzaga, and they have offered Gonzaga a spot in the Big 12. On the Big 12 side of things, they're in lockstep behind Brett Yormark. The Big 12 is very much aligned. All of their presidents, their membership is very much aligned behind Brett Yormark. They have a vision and a plan, and Brett Yormark is out executing that plan. If Gonzaga were to say, yeah, sure, let's do this thing, Brett Yormark would have a rubber-stamped contract for them ready to rock and roll. It would be just a formality to get the members to check a box and sign on the dotted line to get Gonzaga in. So the idea that they would have to go first, get an agreement, then go out to membership, that's not the way it works in the Pac-12. And hey, maybe that's the deal in the Pac-12, Jake, but in the Big 12, that's not the way they're doing business right now. And I think it's one of the major things that separates Brett Yormark from anything going on in the Pac-12, including George Kliavkoff's lack of leadership.
Yeah, and I think it all just comes back to that word you just used, leadership, organization, planning. Another word might be tacticalness, if you will. Like Brett Yormark just understands that, hey, today's March 6th, and 6 months from now, I got to be here. As an example, the day I took over the conference, I know that I got to go around to all my people, and I got to get everybody in a straight line. all on board, as Nick Saban says, all the butts on the bus in the right seat. And I think that, Brett Yormark is obviously proven to be a savvy operator. And I think, he caught some heat, frankly, when they went to market early and they signed for 31.5 a year. They caught some heat. And I think, he had the foresight to be able to say, hey, we needed that reliability. We needed to make sure that we were taken care of. And obviously you see the benefits that have now, been given to them by going to market early and getting that done. So to me, I think there's really no comparison to Brett and George. I really do feel like Brett has won the battle, but I think that, this is the first of many battles that Brett Yormark is going to have to, fight, if you will. This is just the beginning of the journey of his commissionership of the Big 12, because when you look at the long-term picture, we can talk all day about Gonzaga, and that would be a great ad. I completely agree. I think this conversation that's ongoing about, the Four Corners and Utah and Arizona State and Arizona and Colorado and, what's going on up north, with Oregon and Washington, those are all great conversations, but what's it all really leading to? And that, for me, is when I think about Brett Yormark, that's what kind of comes to my mind. Where is he trying to take this conference? Because we know he's trying to push west. But to what end? That's what I'm really curious about with Brett, because I think he understands that the SEC in the Big Ten, or the SEC and the Big Ten are sleeping giants. They will eat you up if you don't protect yourself. And that, to me, is what I think the core inspiration or motivation is for going out and getting these schools.
But do you buy that the Big 12 is only secure, if you will, as secure as one can be, because they don't have any brands that people desire? I don't necessarily buy that. I think the Big 12 is secure because they've acted more urgently than the Pac-12 has. I think it's because Brett Yormark saw an opportunity, and I don't know if it's because ESPN and Fox, as we were told here on the program, they went to Brett Yormark and encouraged the Big 12 to come out early. They went to the Big 12 and the Pac-12 and suggested that they merge. And really, ESPN has been at the forefront of a lot of these conversations because I think, obviously, they're the pulse of TV rights deals in college sports, where ESPN, they're in the middle. And right now, I think they are where they had projected they would be. And I think they tried to warn the Pac-12 that this was coming. And I honestly think the Big 12 is solid, not because they don't have desirable brands, because you can't tell me that TCU or Oklahoma State or, if you just look at the SEC, are you really telling me that Oklahoma State and TCU or Kansas or K-State, none of them make sense to you? That just doesn't jive with me. I think that the Big 12 has desirable brands, but I think they are more secure because they have a rights deal and they're in position to be the aggressor. They're playing offense and not just defense.
Yeah, and I think the desirable brands thing is an eye of the beholder conversation. I mean, just because, the Pac-12 is flicking its nose at the Big 12 doesn't mean that the Big 12 is garbage. We had a really in-depth and deep conversation about academics in these two conferences on Friday, and I would encourage you guys to go back and watch that after today's program. But that whole conversation, to me, after mulling it and thinking about it over the weekend, just said to me, dude, the Pac-12 is still incredibly prideful, right? You're still incredibly prideful, even though you're in the situation you're in. If you had set your pride aside, if you had said hey, you know what? It's not great that the Big 12 is definitely head and shoulders below us in academics. That nobody's really questioning that. That's just a fact, honestly. But it's not a fact to the point where I'm gonna say, it's not really a fit for us. And that, to me, when we talk about this whole concept of desirable brands and, what does the Big 12 have and do they have reliability long-term with the brands that they have? Yeah, I think they have reliability, but reliability only goes so far because the reliability can turn off tomorrow if the SEC comes calling to any of those garbage brands, as the Pac-12 puts it.
But if you look at the Big 12, I think when you talk about reliability, what is their most reliable piece right now? Well, it's Brett Yormark, because this is a guy, this thing about academics is significant in the Pac-12. I don't believe it is significant in the Big 12.
Y'all feel me?
Number two, I look at Brett Yormark and I say to myself, this is a savvy business operator, because you look at going into the market early, but then you also turn around and you say to yourself, this, I don't know what you call it, business model, if you will, of splitting basketball and football is brilliant, because you knew, and I still think basketball is struggling to find a long-term foothold the way that football has, because the age restrictions in the NBA and the way the draft is changing, and college basketball will likely always have a place. I don't know that the NCAA tournament exists in 10 years. I don't know that college basketball as we know it, or the NCAA for that matter, as we know it exists in 10 years. But Brett Yormark, I think, has a business model that is built to withstand the major changes that are coming to college athletics, especially media rights.
Facts.
I don't think there's any doubt. And all of us, I think, agree the game has changed significantly just in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
From the time that the Big 12 announced this deal, I think the game has changed significantly. From the time that USC came out, from the time that UCLA left, then UCLA gets, their free ticket essentially to leave the Big 12 with the California Board of Regents, and all that time that the Pac-12 was in that malaise, the Big 12 was stacking. The Big 12 was moving parts around to set themselves up to succeed. I think that's what the difference is here. They've been playing offense the entire time, while the Pac-12 is backpedaling, and really trying to just keep its hands up. And I think it is remarkable, and I think it says a lot about Brett Yormark that he's not been out here throwing haymakers at the Pac-12. He didn't punch himself out. In fact, I don't know that he's thrown a punch yet. But if he's able to land a signature from Gonzaga, really, you're not going to play it?
Gonzaga.
Thank you.
Well, you've said it three times
If
today.
he's able to land a signature from Gonzaga, I think it is a huge, huge haymaker.
Yeah.
And I think what it does is it furthers that narrative that the Big 12 is in control of college athletics. I think that's what every day is doing, that the Pac-12 doesn't make an announcement, and the Big 12 just continues to operate and continues to lay the foundation to build on top of that. That, to me, is why the Big 12 is solid.
Yeah, and I think, that part of the conversation about, long-term success, people want to do business with good business people, and Brett Yormark is a good business person, as we've been talking about. And I think, if you ask, the commissioner of the Big Ten, whoever that's going to be, if you ask, the commissioner of the SEC, hey, which one of the conferences right now would you most want to do business with? Well, if you ask the SEC, it's probably going to be the Big Ten. But after that, it's probably the Big 12, because you know that you have a guy in Brett Yormark that can get good things done and put you in a good position. So for me, I think there's a lot of bias towards the Big 12. I'm not a Big 12 fan by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really sitting here having this conversation as someone who doesn't really have a team in college football, but someone who has to know college football in and out for a living.
But you're just not passionate about college sports in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not my number one at all.
Which is crazy to me, because I'm so passionate about college athletics. I love college football. Now, basketball, I think all of us have talked about this on the show. I think our passion in college basketball has waned significantly. I mean, this is college basketball, in my opinion, has become a February and March piece of business.
Yeah.
I think it's Duke, Carolina in the ACC tournament. For me, anyway, I'm a Carolina guy. It's Duke, Carolina in the ACC tournament, and then I'm into the big dance. That's really where I'm at.
Yeah.
I am not a guy that cares about, the Big Sky second round. I'm not somebody that, it's tough for me to go and watch every college tournament.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Like this Full Swing golf show on Netflix, I'm watching that over college basketball. Like that show, I'm telling you, we're going to talk about that later in the show. Full Swing on Netflix is a home run. I'm watching that show well over watching college basketball right now, especially regular season. I'm out.
Yeah, and I don't know what college basketball does about that. I don't know. I mean, I think, I don't think that college basketball sucks. It's just not my flavor. I think college basketball in certain towns across this country is absolutely the ticket, without a doubt. But for me, I'll be honest, I'm more interested in shows like that, or maybe some spring training, or maybe like the NBA. Certainly, I mean, there's still a lot going on in sports, but again, none of that really is pertinent to the conversation of the fact that Brett Yormark has his conference dialed in. And yeah, I do think the Big 12 is, I know everyone agrees, is going to be prolific in the tournament. So I don't know, man. I just think that when you look at the Big 12 versus the Pac-12, I just sit here and I say one conference is going up and to the right, another one's going down and to the left. It's just that simple.
Yep. Don't forget the official energy drink of the Monty Show is Bucked Up Energy. I am so stoked. I got my new sippy cup, Daddy. Look at that shaker, dude. I'm telling you, the Bucked Up shakers are the best in the business.
Can you measure it?
Yeah, I can absolutely measure it. I'm telling you now, if you do not have a Bucked Up shaker, look in the description of the show below. There's a free link to a shaker and 3 free samples. Dude, I'm struggling today. That's it.
Oh, God. Uh-oh.
It is time.
You guys know what time it is, bro.
You
know what time it is.
You got to open up.
I know what time it is.
Yes, you do. The Bucked Up Miami, I'm telling you. It just hits different.
It's bomb, dude.
It just hits different. They've been out of Miami for a couple of days at my Bucked Up store in South Jordan. I finally got a case yesterday.
Yes.
Let's roll. But look in the description below. They're going to give you a free shaker and 3 free samples of Bucked Up. I'm a big pre-workout guy. You guys know I get up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm in the gym at 5:30 every morning, working out, building the guns.
What you bench?
I love Bucked Up. I like the way that their supplements, and I'll talk about their pre-workouts because I think they're the best in the business. Bucked Up pre-workout. It doesn't shock you. It doesn't knock you off your feet. You're not like shaking, but you feel energized. You feel ready to go. Your blood is flowing. That's what I like about it. There's so much trash out there in the industry for supplements, especially in pre-workout for the novice like me, where you take something you really can't have confidence in it. It Bucked Up, I'm telling you guys, quality ingredients, quality products. They announced Callum Von Moger is one of their spokespeople now. He is a huge name. I just love what they're doing at Bucked Up, and they're a local Utah company. Get to buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off your purchase. But don't take my word for it. Click the link below in the description. Get the 3 free samples. Get the free shaker cup. And again, I'm just telling you, these shaker cups, I drink water out of mine all day long. I love it. It is the best shaker you will ever use. I promise you that.
I'm going to say this again.
It's in the description below. Click the link. Pick any 3 samples that you want, any shaker cup color combo you want. Make sure you tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. We appreciate that. Bucked Up, the official energy drink of the Monty Show. You know some of those days, yeah, seriously, you know some of those days where you're just a step slow, and sometimes like your brain is in 5th gear and your mouth is in like 3rd gear? I'm way behind it today. I just got to chill out.
Yeah, dude. You just got to settle in a little bit here, man.
Let's go. Let's get your comments in here today. Appreciate everybody on the show. C. Kaufman is the first one in. Wow. We've gathered here today to pay our respects to the passing of the Pac-12.
Oh, man.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Kleopkov. Lopes fan Gabe says...
in God's name, image, and likeness.
Lopes fan Gabe says, hit the like button, casuals. Absolutely. We're pushing 1,000 views on the show. Look at you guys. 18 minutes in, we're already at 1,000 views. I love it. But we're also only at 57 likes, so if all 364 of you hit the like button, that would be amazing. Jazz Perch 1. Happy Monday, gentlemen. Afternoons make my workday much more enjoyable when you guys do a show. Appreciate that. Every day, 3 to 6. Car Wash Channel simply says he's a member of the show, by the way. Thanks, Car Wash Channel.
Appreciate you, Car
Wash. You guys
Wash.
click the join button. By the way, no, I'll tell you about it in 10 minutes. The Big 5-0 birthday bash this Friday is getting crazy.
It's lit.
It's getting crazy now. And I don't have time. I wish I had ordered more T-shirts because the demand to get into this event is incredible. We'll tell you about that coming up at 3:30. Car Wash Channel says Pac-12 is a trash conference.
Because it's garbage.
Okay. Mick Mullins says Utes back to the Mountain West. Never. You guys are
because
amazing.
It's garbage.
You guys are amazing. Raptor 88, my guy. There he is. He's also a member. I like is that an iguana?
No, that is a white salamander, please.
Okay. Happy Monday, casual. See, you just start so much trouble. Man, Janine Britannica says Showgrum.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What's up, Cougar
Program.
Tracks says go Cougars. Mr. Preston, one of our guys, a big bucked up drinker, by the way, Mr. Preston.
Boom.
Mr. Preston was at a car show over the weekend.
Yeah, my guy's building the twin turbo LS Chevelles.
Dude, you're a stud. Let's go, casuals. Happy Monday. Let's enjoy the Monty program today. Zesty's Retro and Games says Gonzaga.
Yeah, I mean, you've already said Gonzaga like 5 times.
I said it
Gonzaga.
once. I
Gonzaga.
said it
No,
once.
you've definitely confirmed said it twice.
No.
Yeah, you
No,
did.
I have not.
Gonzaga.
I don't know what you mean.
Gonzaga.
You are going to get us in trouble with that, dude.
Hey, I spent $100,000 going to Gonzaga. You're going to say it right.
Now I have to tell the story. There was one time way back in the day when we said Gonzaga, a girl DM'd me. And she was like, hey, man, I spent like $100,000 on my education. Are you just being a dick, or are you just trolling, or are you really stupid? Like she
Gonzaga.
lost her mind. It's Gonzaga. Where does Zaga come from? I'm like, I don't know. I went to Gonzaga. That's why
That's right, T.
I didn't go to Gonzaga. Matt Hartley says Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
You guys,
Gonzaga.
you are pissing people. Come on, man. Help me out a little bit. Story says Red Raider fan here. Texas Tech. Boy, how about the Texas Tech basketball coach?
Dude.
That situation's ugly. Don't have all the info on Utah. What year did they leave the Ivy League to join the Pac? Wow, see, Ivy League. And why are people so upset about the education thing?
Because it's a garbage line of thinking. That's why. Because they're more concerned about getting A's on essays than making money on the football field. You know, they're more concerned about, being top tier God level educational facilities versus maybe just stepping down, a little bit and, getting to a good place on the football field and getting into a good place in the pocketbook.
Why is it a problem that they want to be in a conference that is a higher level of education? Because there's no doubt that the grouping of schools in the Pac-12, I mean, the academics are not comparable. Right. I mean, at least we all can agree on that.
Nobody disagrees that the Pac-12 is head and shoulders better in the classroom than the Big 12. That's just not in dispute. It's not. It's true. It's 100% facts. But I think people have a problem with this because the Pac-12 is burning to the ground on $22 million a year, and you have all this smoke, and we know that, programs like Gonzaga have been verbally offered, and Utah wants to sit here and drag its feet and say, yeah, we can't join the conference, and let me put it this way, we can't take our life, boat back to the beach, to survive because, you're not at the same level as us in calculus. That's the problem,
but
man.
I also think it's about a lot more than that, though. I think that these schools make a lot of money on education. I think it's $1 billion industry every year, multiple $1 billion industry every year that schools make on their educational prowess. And whether you're a research institution, whatever it might be, I think it is a bigger deal than that. I think athletics, and I don't know how many people agree with this, or athletics are a very small piece of the financial pie for an institution like Utah, or certainly Northwestern, certainly a Stanford, a Notre Dame. Athletics are a very small piece of the financial pie. So I actually understand why it matters to a Utah. I understand why it matters to a Big Ten that they want to get Stanford and Cal if they're going to take Oregon and Washington. That makes perfect sense to me. My question is, why are so many people upset about that?
Well, listen to what you just said, though. Notice, what did all those schools have in common that you just said? Notre Dame, Utah, right? To a lesser extent, Stanford and Cal, right? A lot of these schools are not like national championship winning programs recently. They are education, then athletics. And, to me, I don't know. I just look at, so you're telling me that Alabama or Georgia isn't a good educational facility because, they put a ton of money into their, weight room. Like, I just
don't
think
think
it's
anybody's
a novel,
saying that, though.
I know nobody's saying that, but that's how they operate. They operate like, oh man, like we can't go and do this. Like they're operating with this idea that they can't go to the Big 12 because somehow that's going to lose them a ton of money.
I think you have to look at it like somebody that walks up to you with a piece of Louis luggage and somebody that walks up to you with a torn duffel bag.
The Louis luggage has no money in it. The torn duffel bag does.
Well, maybe, but
you're going to take the Louis duffel bag.
Yes, every single time.
Come on, man.
Every single time.
Come on,
You're
man.
going to take the Louis bag over the torn duffel bag every single time, and I don't care where the money's hidden. The bottom line is, when you are somebody like Stanford, Cal, when you're somebody like Utah that prides itself on education, and yes, BYU fans who lost their minds on YouTube in the comments over the weekend, we said it a million times. BYU is ranked higher educationally than Utah. We get it.
It's really unfair.
But the point is, Utah is currently affiliated with, Stanford and Cal. Why would you want to give that up? I understand it. I think it is, for Utah, I think the biggest issue is your long-term viability as an athletic program. Dude, I'm negotiating my season tickets right now with Utah football. Man, I would much rather have them in the Big 12 than the Pac-12 if I'm going to pay for season tickets. Not that matters this year, but in the long term, I'm willing to pay more to put Utah into the Big 12 because I just don't believe in the vision and the long-term prosperity of the Pac-12.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I think people struggle with this whole educational piece. Nobody struggles to understand why you might want to be surrounded by some of the best educational institutions in the land. I think that makes perfect sense. I think that's, very straightforward. But we're not having a conversation about, hey, the Pac-12's in a great spot, but would you want to join the Big 12? That's not the conversation we're having. We're having a conversation about, hey, your conference is in a really crappy spot. Yeah, sure, you may have good educational ranking right now, but if you don't survive athletically, you're telling me you're still going to keep it cool in the classroom. You just don't need athletics at all. You don't care about the Sun Devils. Arizona State just put in this beautiful, I think it was $200 million or $160 million hockey facility. You're telling me that Arizona State doesn't care about athletics? Well, no, of course they do, right? So that's where I think people struggle. It's Utah is not relevant nationally because of this, in my opinion. You're more worried about your education than what's happening on the football field.
I think Utah is not relevant nationally in athletics at the level they should be. That doesn't mean that they're not relevant. They're not relevant to the level they should be. That's the bottom line, because nobody sees the Pac-12 networks. Nobody. And I think that's the struggle that Utah fans are dealing with right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Utah fans are prideful and don't want to give that up. And I think that makes perfect sense. D-Rock Irish says, sugar content, just asking. Anytime you see me drinking an energy drink, it will always be zero sugar. If it doesn't have zero sugar, we would not partner with Bucked Up if all of their stuff was full of sugar. And when you have a company like Bucked Up, D-Rock, you can believe, and if you go and do the research, you'll see it's all online. When you go and look at Bucked Up and their products, they are the highest quality. They are the highest efficiency. They're not going to load their stuff up with sugar. The question at Bucked Up is high stimulant, low stimulant. They make them both. The black can, 300 milligrams of caffeine. The white can, 100 milligrams of caffeine.
Y'all feel me?
Plain and simple. And it says, and I'll show it to you here. This is a can of Bucked Up Miami. Can you see it right? You can't, but this says zero sugar. You see that? Zero sugar right there. So I wouldn't be drinking. I do my best to avoid sugar at all costs. It's just not something, and I don't have, thankfully, I'm really lucky. I don't have diabetes. I don't have any of that. But sugar, I am a big believer that sugar's terrible for you. So you're never going to see me drinking full sugar stuff, in my opinion. David Zabesta says ASU's crap numbers were an outlier. From 2016 to 2021, the worst four schools were CU, Cal, Arizona, and Oregon State. Okay. That's cool. Remick, how the heck are you, man? Oh, he is just saying buck, not the other word. Yeah, bucked up. Bucked up. This is a family show. We would never speak in such terms. Speaking of family shows, don't forget, join us Friday right here at the Maverick Center for the Big 5-0 birthday bash. Super excited. We are going to have Brant Keithy and Max Tooley from BYU are going to be right here at the Maverick Center. Coming out and see them. You can get online. All of our exclusive membership is full. So this event is full. I am not telling you that you can get in. Everybody, we announced on Friday that we were doing mini golf. We have the most pimped event for this thing. This mini golf course that we have coming, dude, wait until you see the video on this thing. The company that we're using to provide indoor mini golf makes these boxes. They have Plinko, they have skee ball, like
For real.
all these different mini golf course holes. They're going to be inside the Maverick Center here up in our Centennial Room spot.
For real.
We are going to have a full catered Mexican dinner. We've even got enchiladas. We've got a taco bar. It's going to be amazing. We are rapidly running out of shirts. It's amazing how many people have asked to get into this thing. We're going to have a cake. We are going to have lights. It's going to be unbelievable. Oh, by the way, a great hockey game is also going to go off on Friday with the Kansas City Mavericks. I like it. Okay. One horn is fine. The Utah Grizzlies, who are red hot, they are playing great hockey right now. The Mavericks will be in town. I am looking for a win. Brant Keithy and Max Tooley are going to drop the first puck on Saturday night. That's going to be amazing. It's just going to be a great night. And then, oh, by the way, on Saturday, the Stanley Cup's coming in. So the Stanley Cup's going to be at Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. Guys, get tickets. Come on out. I'm telling you, even though you can't get into our event, you can still meet Max and Brant. They're going to be in the building. They're two really good dudes. I can tell you, having spoken with them, they are just awesome guys. And it's all brought to you by our good friends at Bucked Up Energy and Papa Murphy's Pizza. I cannot wait for Friday.
Yes.
We were talking to the guys here, Brian Pruch, the chief marketing officer for the Utah Grizzlies. I just cannot wait because it's going to be amazing. The Stanley Cup is going to be at Maverick Center.
Crazy.
Dudes, I'm telling you, by the way, use the promo code JYMonty to get your discount on Grizzlies tickets. So come on out Friday and Saturday. DM us. We're happy to meet with you guys. We're happy to take pictures with you guys. We love when you come out. So make sure you say hello at that event. But our event is full. There are tickets available to come to the game, but our event is full.
Yeah.
So make sure if you do buy tickets, you come out and you say hello because that's going to be amazing. Let's see. Amber Spencer says, oh, that damn cake. The Baketress, Amber Spencer. Amber, are you coming to the event? Amber,
yeah, she is RSVP.
She is
oh,
RSVP.
Yes.
Okay.
And the husband.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Spencer, the Baketress of the show. There was a little cross connect on the we got the cake. We didn't have Amber bake it because she told me she wasn't baking, and it's gonna be an awesome cake.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a really good time. Outside the echo chamber says Utah hangs their hat on the Pac's academics, not their own. Well, because I think a rising tide raises all ships, right? I mean, if you are, there's no doubt about it. And again, I don't even think it's a slap in the face. The Big 12's academics are below the Pac-12's academics. Mm-hmm. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
It's not a slap in the face. It's a fact. It's reality. And so I get it. I absolutely get it. Amber says, Mr. Spencer and I cannot wait for Friday. We'll look forward to seeing you. Dan Kinnersley, a member of the program as well, says Utah isn't relevant academically, nationally, just because they are in the same conference as some world-class institutions. No, but again, if you're in a conference with Stanford and Cal and you can liaison with them or network with them or partner with them, let's say you partner with them on a study or in research the connections are natural to me. Why is this so controversial? The comments are crazy to me.
Because it is so Utah is saying, hey, we're struggling to want to go to the Big 12 because of academics. Mm-hmm. So what exactly are you really losing by being in the Big 12? Because it's not as though you're going to lose, right? Do I have this right? They're not losing like. It's not like all of a sudden you were a grade A academic institution. You're not going to lose
you're not going to lose your AAU certification.
Yeah, by going to the
Big.
You're
not going to lose that money. I just think that you are. Perception is reality. And I think if you are, I get it. I don't know.
I'm not saying
I'm
you're
not
wrong.
an expert. I can't speak to what they will lose or not lose. What I know is everybody talks about academic certification. They're not losing that. They're not losing their medical school. I mean, it's nothing catastrophic. It simply is perception versus reality. I think that's all it is. And I don't blame them. If they could join the Big Ten, I think Utah would join the Big Ten tomorrow. But right now, I don't see that as a possibility.
And I think there's also this other side of it where, saying you're not going to join a conference because of academics essentially implies, without saying it, that, that conference is just trash academically, which is not true. The Big 12 is not some awful academic conference. They're just not as good as the Pac-12 is. And look, again, we're not having a conversation about whether, he's right and I'm wrong or the comments are wrong or we're like, that's not really even the conversation. Like you've said a couple of times, I think we all agree, hey, the Pac-12 is better academically. That's true, 100%. But I think, when an institution like Utah says, hey, we're not going here because of academics, it sounds prideful and it sounds foolish. That's my opinion. I think it sounds silly to say, well, we're not going to choose reliability, more money, better reputation, better odds of winning a national championship.
Really? You think that's prideful?
Yeah, I think it's prideful to say you're not going to choose all that because you want to be super top, like Lamborghini level education.
Yeah, I think
that's
I have no problem with that. I think that's part of their brand. Cody Gilbreth gives us a $10 tip to say when the Four Corners School joined the Big 12. Well, I wouldn't state it as though it's going to happen. I think it is possible. I do not believe that it is close to being done. I don't. Do you think they will use a 3 protected annual game model or pods? I get asked this question all the time. I don't know. If it were me and I was realigning, I would want to protect my rivalry games. I'd want to protect every one of them. It's I think that's really important. Christopher Murphy says also a lot of AAU schools, which is oddly a weird obsession here, are D3 or Ivy, and 2 are Canadian. You're not going to lose your AAU affiliation. The problem is most of the schools in the Pac-10, the remaining 10 schools in the Pac-12, which is still awkward to say, the Pac-12's remaining 10 schools are AAU. Most of them, not all of them. Most of them are.
Yeah.
And this also, by the way, brings in the question of, well, then what is your appeal to Boise State and Fresno State? And really, I understand the appeal of San Diego State, but academics don't matter when you're trying to get more members, but it does matter for you to stay in.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it from that angle. That's also a fair point. That's why I say, I don't know. I get it, but I also don't get it. I understand the concept. I understand, what they're saying about academics and what they want or what in an ideal world they'd have happen. But it's all for naught if your conference dies, right? If your conference dies, you're really telling me that now all of a sudden you're going to be more worried? Well, obviously not. And that's why I say, I think it would be different. If the SEC said, hey, we're not, if there was some hypothetical, some insane hypothetical, right, that the SEC and the Big 12 are going to merge, right? That the educational piece of that conversation, I could understand that if it was optional, right? I think that's the key word here. It's not, at some point, it's not going to be optional for the Pac to merge with the Big 12 or for the Big 12 to absorb, the Four Corners, let's say, or, schools like Gonzaga. You're not going to have a choice if the Pac-12 burns to the ground. And I think that's why people feel controversially about this. That's why people think this is controversial, because it's that's cool that you take so much pride in the classroom, but if your conference doesn't survive, what good is that?
Can we just get an announcement, please? Can we just can we just get somebody to do something about something?
Yes.
I don't know. Again, if you're just tuning into the show this afternoon, we're talking about this Gonzaga basketball situation, which, by the way, I think we should get back to, and I'd love to see in the comments section. How do you guys think that Gonzaga basketball fits into the Big 12? I think it's a natural fit, although some people would tell you that you're a better fit in the Pac-12 geography-wise, which I think is crazy. Because when you look at Gonzaga and you just pull it up on a map, right? And you realize where Spokane, Washington is, you just start to understand that you're in the hotbed of Pac-12 country. Like when you look at where they are and where Spokane, Washington is, and you start to understand the landscape of, where like, look at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Look at where Washington State is. Look at where all of the Oregon State is. Like, you are an enclave essentially to the eastern front of Washington State.
Right.
Because you are basically sitting on the border of Idaho and Washington. And you are right in the ballpark of Pac-12 country. But I just don't think you're a fit in that conference. It just doesn't feel like. And by the way, the Pac-12 has tried to lure Gonzaga in, and Gonzaga has said no, thank you. They have said, we appreciate the offer. We're not ready to accept it.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Which I think we also reported on this show.
Yeah.
And I think it bears saying that you have a situation where you absolutely are being fought over at Gonzaga right now. You are being fought over by the Big 12 and the Pac-12.
Which is always great. You always want that.
Oh, no question. You always want that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. But you look at where Gonzaga University is. I mean, you absolutely are. What are you? 3 hours from Seattle, 2.5 hours from Seattle, which obviously is the center of the universe in the Pac-12 now that Los Angeles is out. I mean, you are a competitor to Washington State.
But
there is no doubt about that.
On the flip side of that, for Brett Yormark, you're extremely attractive because you're West. Brett Yormark has said repeatedly he wants to push West.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I think Gonzaga basketball to the Big 12 is a no-brainer.
Gonzaga.
And I don't care that if you're, hey, look, you're an hour north or whatever it is of Pullman and the Palouse. Hey, that's great. Let's go. I'm good with it. But I'm telling you that Gonzaga absolutely should be part of the Big 12. My biggest question is, and I know I'm not the only one asking this, is Gonzaga basketball as good as it is today if it joins the Big 12 tomorrow? And I'm telling you they're not. Mm-hmm. With all due respect to St. Mary's and BYU.
I think they're top half, though.
I would agree with that.
I think they're top half. Yeah.
Yeah. Outside the echo chamber says Utah isn't better academically. Utah's pretty darn good academically. Brandon Butler, who's a member of the program, says, for example, if you want to deal with Disney, you don't want to be seen hanging out with Ja. Well, at the moment. No, this Ja Morant situation. We'll talk about that in the 5 o'clock hour. Don't forget, coming up 30 minutes from now, I am super stoked about our guest today. You guys know we don't do a whole lot of guests on this show, right? Brian Lawlor's a guy that I think is exceptionally important. He is the president at Scripps Sports. We heard a week or 10 days ago that, Scripps Sports through Ion TV was talking to the Pac-12.
Come on, man.
Brian's going to come on the show today, and we are going to talk about the business of doing rights deals, because there's a lot of people who believe that Scripps Sports is going to be a power player in live sports broadcasting. And I think they will. But one of the questions I think we need to talk to Brian about is, what is the role of streaming? And is streaming here now, or is streaming still out there in the future a little bit? Because I am a big believer in live sports. If you do not reach viewers on their phones, you're in trouble. I think if you are, the funny thing is we were watching F1 this week, and I happen to be a pretty big F1 fan. Where did I watch some of that F1 race? I watched it on my phone. And I'm telling you, that's the future. You have got to be able to find these games on your phone. Because if you can't watch a Utah Ute football game on an iPad or a telephone, what's the point of having a deal there? Because you're going to lose viewers. So I'm curious, from a guy that's in the middle of it, like Brian Lawlor, is streaming paramount right now today? Because look at what Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, said last week that lit your hair on fire.
Yeah, I mean, he said he wanted every Utah Jazz fan to be able to access their content and their games, whether that be, I believe he said on any device, but whether that be on a computer or TV or a phone, any device. So to me, I look at situations like the Jazz and Ryan Smith. I look at the MSG deal. I look at some of the other deals that have been done sort of like this across the country and across the landscape of sport. And you're seeing more of these deals come down. And to me, I think what has some catching up to do is the monetary investment in Buddy walking around with a camera that can shoot 4K behind the scenes content. That's what I think is waiting. And I think everybody and their mom can stream to YouTube. Like, that's not like some new rocket ship type deal,
but Jake, it's this Full Swing show on Netflix, and I don't mean to keep going back to that. This Full Swing show on Netflix, if you have not watched it, it is, I can't let go of it. And I'm not a huge golf fan, even though I play and I watch pretty regularly. Mm-hmm. But seeing Dustin Johnson talk about why he left the PGA for Live Golf, watching Brooks Koepka struggle at the Open, the stories, they like follow these guys home. By the way, Paulina Gretzky is flipping hot as hell on this show. You look at Mrs. Brooks Koepka, Jenna Sims, hot as hell on this show. It's behind the scenes. It's mic'd up. It's everything we want. It's the arguments between caddies and golfers. It's the planning. Watching these guys try to read greens at the Open is fascinating to me. Watching guys like, a Jordan Spieth really struggle to make 5-foot putts in a final round of an Open champion. It's amazing. It just grabs you. That's what I need. That's what I want. The game is important. Don't get me wrong. The game is important. But I need to know the guys playing the game too. That's why it's so close to me. That's why I want it. That's why streaming matters. That's why laying in bed watching a game on my phone. That's why that matters. And it doesn't matter if I'm naked or not. I have my phone in my hand, right? That's why that matters. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm all in on streaming, and I know I'm one of the only ones.
We want the fiber of sports. That's what we want. We want to know. I mean, and there's any number of examples, whether it's this Full Swing show, Hard Knocks, All or Nothing, whatever it is, the Lakers in there's so many examples.
Drive to Survive.
Like,
look at the explosion of F1 in this country. And if you don't know, it's exploding. And it's all because of Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
And inside, behind the scenes look at F1.
Imagine if we got a Drive to Survive Pac-12 deal negotiation. I'm not even being tongue-in-cheek, but think about it. Like, think about how compelling it would be to be in on even half the conversations that a Brett Yormark or George Kliavkoff or, a Kevin Warren at the time, when the Big Ten deal was getting done. Like, that's the stuff that we as sports fans really want and crave and desire. And I think that's where I hope, teams like the Jazz, teams like the Lakers, I want to see every single team that's relevant in sport, whether they're the number one most relevant team or the last relevant team. I want to see everybody doing
and the Lakers are
stuff.
By the way, the Lakers are doing that.
I know. Yeah.
The Macho Man. What's up, Macho Man? He says Ryan Smith got a $12 billion offer to take his company private. Yeah, how about that? Qualtrics today.
Stay hard.
Amazing. Jaron Eccles, my dude, what's up? A member of the show, says Full Swing is a fantastic show. If you like golf at all, you need to watch it. It's crazy. Jaron, hope you're coming to the event on Friday. Dan Kinnersley says, exactly, Gary. I want to be able to watch on my phone when I'm out and about and be able to watch on a smart TV app when I'm at the house. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Jacob DeLambo says, are we talking about MILF Manor now? Dude, I'm telling you, Paulina Gretzky.
Stay hard.
I mean, I don't even know. How do you ever leave the house? How do you ever leave the I don't even dude.
Can you measure it?
Dude. Austin Napierski, what's up, dude? I would never watch that in a million years, and I love Full Swing and Drive to Survive.
Never watch
You
what?
never watch what? I don't know what you mean. Outside the echo chamber says paid promo. What's a paid promo?
Yeah.
Craig Thompson McCluskey. Does anybody in the Mountain West miss Craig Thompson yet?
Oh my God.
Says hello. Mayor, I love you, dude. Good to see you. Tanner Plummer, where's Greg Hawkins? He needs to be here to defend the Titanic. Greg's dad passed away. So if you have a minute today, you guys, take 30 seconds and just think positivity into Greg Hawkins' life. His father passed away. He's been battling a little bit. So, Greg, we're thinking about you, dude. We appreciate you. We appreciate you being a loyal listener to the show. And I just hope you're feeling good today, man, as good as you can. I know that. What's the time for the party Friday? My sister is coming home from her mission that evening. Oh, my God, Jaron.
Jaron, bro.
Bring her with you.
Yeah, come on.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
And again, you can roll in later than that.
You can come in later. You can come in earlier, stay shorter, longer, whatever you want. Teddy Wayman says, I like watching golf. I just don't have a Netflix anymore. How about my wife?
What the hell? I thought that she got rid of it.
How about Mrs. Monty getting Netflix back just so we could watch Full Swing? The girls, I'm telling you, when you marry up, you truly need to marry up.
Yeah.
Because she's freaking amazing. My wife is, I'm telling you, I married way over my head, which is why she always wants football 50, 10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show. Don't forget Brian Lawlor, Scripps Sports, Ion TV coming up here. He's the president at Scripps Sports. We'll ask him about Ion TV, because Ion TV to me is Chicago PD. Hank Boyd, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, SRTs and stuff.
Yeah, which I am now. I own a Hemi, so I just say it's an SRT. I'm the Beamer guy that puts like the M badge on the back of his 328. I'm not actually that guy at all. I don't have an SRT. I have a Hemi.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is football 50, 10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show. Presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase of $25 or more. Let's talk about quarterbacks. Did you guys hear that Derek Carr signed with the New Orleans Saints? I don't know that I can say this number out loud. He got $100 million guaranteed from the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
He got $150 million total, $100 guaranteed. Is Derek Carr the savior of the New Orleans Saints?
I don't know if he's the savior, but he's the best guy they've had since Drew Brees. I mean, that's just a fact. You know, with all due respect to Taters and, Jameis Winston, with all due respect to those guys, to me, I just think that, you went out and you made a play. And I think that, to be honest with you, $100 million guaranteed is a lot by football standards, but it's not a lot by quarterback standards, dude.
For that guy.
But that guy, look at the market, though. That guy in this market, I think it's justified.
Well, and here's the market, and I think you're exactly right. Here's the question. Okay, so New Orleans got Derek Carr off the market. Look at the Jets.
Yeah.
They're down to darkroom freakazoid or Jimmy Garoppolo, the constant surgery patient. Like, I don't know which way you go here.
Darkroom freakazoid.
Hey, man, tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, just got out of my darkness retreat, raccoon out of a garbage can. Anything happen on Twitter the last few days, Packer Nation?
What do you guys make of this choice? And by the way, Ryan Tannehill might be out there. Ryan Tannehill's a guy that could be cut. I doubt it now. They're saying that Tennessee wants to hang on to him because there's not a better QB out there than Tannehill.
Yeah.
If you're the Jets, what do you do here?
Well, I mean, I think you have to take a swing. I mean, you got to offer Aaron Rodgers the mountain, dude. And it sucks because you don't really have another choice. I mean, I guess, since you are the Jets, you could just suck again another year. But I think they understand it at a minimum. And I'm not saying the Jets know how to make the playoffs, but I do think they're well aware that they have a good enough defense to make the playoffs.
Let's go.
And they're like a quarterback or so away from at least getting to the postseason. Because that's the thing. Remember what everyone said last year? Oh, well, it was Zach Wilson, and it was Mike White's fault, and it was Flacco's fault that they didn't make the playoffs. They have this amazing defense. Okay, well, if you have a great defense and you're just a quarterback away, I'm not investing in Jimmy G. I will invest in Aaron Rodgers, even though it's going to cost you $60 million a year. Like, I guess for 2 years that's fine. I don't know.
Look at my guy Teddy Wayman. The Jets should trade for Jordan Love. Screw Aaron.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
How awesome would that be? Hey, it's Woody Johnson.
Hey, Woody is my name.
Which one of the fans, because I know the Packers are owned by their fans, which fan is running the team today? Hey,
Jimmy the pipe fitter.
Hey, Cisco Liscano. Just wanted to talk to you about Jordan Love. We'll give you a first-round pick in Zachy Poo. Can you imagine if the Jets traded for Jordan Love?
Dude, what a bag slap.
Only Teddy Wayman, the Tile King of Utah, would know that. Love that. Jay Washington, as a Saints fan, I'll give the Saints a 3-week trial to see if I'll stay for stick with high school football. I think, listen, I know I've died on this hill on the show. I actually think Derek Carr's better than jerks like you give him credit for.
Please.
He is he the best player on a Super Bowl team? He's not. But they already have a defense. I don't know what they do with a Michael Thomas, or I don't know where they ultimately wind up. I mean, obviously they have issues in the backfield. I mean, they have some issues offensively. But you have a guy in Derek Carr who I don't think is going to lose you games. I don't believe that Derek Carr was the reason the Raiders suck. I don't. And I think he's a good pickup. And by the way, if I'm the Jets, I'm probably trying to get Aaron Rodgers or Ryan Tannehill. I am not paying Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not doing it. If you sign Jimmy Garoppolo, don't you understand he's going to miss half the season?
Yes, dude. If
right?
not the whole season.
Yeah,
But I think another key factor, if you're looking at the NFC South, every team now has a new quarterback, and I'm here to tell you that Buddy is at the top of the list in his division, and there's no reason why they shouldn't go to the playoffs.
Hey, real quick, speaking of the Raiders, they tagged Josh Jacobs today.
Yeah.
So he's going to stay. If you are the Dallas Cowboys, what do you do with Ezekiel Elliott?
Cut him.
I don't know,
man. There's no other choice.
I think it's really interesting. They obviously you probably heard they tagged Pollard. I don't know what you do if you're Ezekiel Elliott. Like, is his career over, or is he a Leonard Fournette who will just run into dudes and he'll have value on a team?
Yeah, I mean, they owe him, I think it's $59 million, which is not guaranteed, right? Like his money is $59 million, but not guaranteed. And I think, I think he's got value in short yardage situation, whether that's red zone or not. I think just short yardage, less 4 yards or less, I'm running Zeke out there. But I think the problem is that the guy just, I don't know if it's fair to say, hey, he's just lost a step, or he's not the same guy. Whatever you want to say about him, he's just turned into more of a power back, short yard guy. He's no longer that explosive 3-down back, and that's okay.
Bryce Young is very small.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see this story? I'm a little worried about this now. If you look at Bryce Young and you look at the way that he handled himself at Alabama, but then watch this video. Look at that. He is tiny. And then he went and measured at the combine. You guys, he measured at the same size as Kyler Murray.
Pick it up.
Look how small. Wait, Bryce Young is doing squats now. Is this Bryce Young or is this Kyler Murray?
What's so funny? They measure the same at the combine, and now they're wearing the same clothes when they work out.
And apparently they have the same personal trainer.
Same trainer too. The captain of the defensive ends group. You know what I mean? So look at his face. Note the face change here.
Stop it. What do you do about Bryce Young? Is Bryce Young too small to play in the NFL?
I don't think he's too small, but I think that teams need to start investing in their offensive lines. Like, clearly not every quarterback that's going to get drafted is going to be 6'5" and 230. Like, we're in an age and in an era where smaller quarterbacks are starting to come into the league more often. And yeah, I'm not a Kyler Murray guy, but Bryce Young excites me. I think he played for one of the best programs in the country in Alabama. I think he's super cerebral at the position. The problem is his durability, and he comes in 203 pounds, I think. So like he's put on weight, but that doesn't get you away from the fact that 250 pounds of muscle is going to flatten him repeatedly.
But how much time has he missed at Alabama? Not much.
But
he missed one start,
yeah,
and there were weeks he didn't practice. He had a sore non-throwing shoulder, but that dude put out week after week for Alabama.
I agree. He didn't miss game time. There were 5 to 7, I think it was 5 times that he missed a whole week of practice leading up to a game and then played and they won. So he's a gamer, but you can't regularly do that in the league and be successful.
And by the way, I think C.J. Stroud's the first quarterback off the board. I mean, this Will Levis thing. Did you guys hear about Will Levis? Dudes, it's odd. We'll talk about Will Levis after we tell you about the double bacon cheddar pizza. I'm out.
Fresh out of Papa Murphy's kitchen, the limited time double bacon cheddar pizza.
Actually, it's fresh out of my oven.
Dad, it's just an expression.
Mozzarella, crispy bacon, and Canadian bacon with nacho cheddar cheese sauce. Now that is an expression.
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza, so you can make the pizza great.
In my oven.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Yep, make sure you use the promo code Monty25 to save 25% off your purchase of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show, which is presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. The Advocates, hey, if you're here in Utah, you know, the guys at The Advocates have supported this show for 10 years. I have known Matt Driggs for a lot of years. They're really good people at The Advocates. I love partnering with them because they care about the community. Their blood drive is going on today. They do things like blood drives with the Red Cross for no profit of their own. Like, it doesn't bring them new money, but it gives back to the community. That's what I love about The Advocates. They're community focused. And if you're sitting here today asking yourself, you know, I got in that accident on Sunday because that guy ran that light. My insurance company, man, should I call a lawyer? Yes. If you're sitting here contemplating, hey, if that guy who hit me because he was driving distracted, hey, he was speeding, hey, he ran a red light, you didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve to get in that accident. You do deserve somebody to fight for you. You deserve an advocate. Get to theadvocates.com. You can chat on their website 24/7. Talk to a lawyer for free because they never charge you a consultation fee. In fact, you don't pay the advocates until they win your case at theadvocates.com. Real quick, don't forget, coming up here, Brian Lawlor from Scripps Sports is going to join us in about 10 minutes on the program. We're going to talk. He is the president of Scripps Sports. He is somebody that was put in position to grow the business of sports on television throughout the Scripps network. It's going to be interesting to talk to him because he's a guy that is in the middle of these conversations. He is talking about building a network of live sports action, like play-by-play as it happens. I think that's huge. I want to talk to him about streaming. I want to talk to him about how important is a mobile phone. Like, how do you do business in a climate where you have certain companies that are going bankrupt, others that are not going bankrupt, but just canceling contracts with the Utah Jazz? Like, how do you operate in that space effectively? And how do you build a reputation? And how do you get people to trust you when you have all of these landmines for baseball teams and basketball teams and college football conferences out there? I think it's a fascinating conversation. It's about 10 minutes away right now. So stick around for that. Brian Lawlor, president of Scripps Sports, will join us here in just a bit. But this Will Levis story that we were talking about over the weekend, did you guys see this story? Will Levis, the fine quarterback out of Kentucky, is scared of milk. How do you explain this? Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a little weird, dude.
Do you? And I'm not even being a jerk about this. Like, what is a turnoff to you if you're an NFL general manager? What is a turnoff to you? If you hear that a quarterback you want to draft is, quote, deathly afraid of milk. Like, what do you say to that cat? Hey, so is this milk thing, Did you have a bad experience on the teat, or can you kind of walk me through that? Like, I don't know what you say to that guy. Would that stop you from drafting him?
Yeah, I'd have some questions for sure. I don't know if it stops me from drafting him. That would be very situation specific, you know, but like it's weird. And I'm going to tell you right now, milk is a big part of NFL franchises. I'm just telling you. Like, it's a big deal. Shakes, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, dude. Like, Buddy is just weird, and then you factor in that he doesn't peel the banana when he eats it. He just eats the rind. Like, it's odd to me. Like, this guy is just strange. I don't get it. And again, I'm not judging him, but I certainly don't have to draft him.
Watching the video of Will Levis, the quarterback at Kentucky, eating a banana without peeling it. He just eats the peel, or what did you call it? The rind?
The rind.
Man, what the hell wrong with you? He didn't peel but he ate the banana and he just took the banana and ate the whole thing. And by the way, it's a brown banana. No, tell me that
I'm a man.
Are you human? He must be an alien.
No, he's an alien from planet Levis.
Dude, it's weird. But would this stop you from
I mean, if I had access to Bryce Young, yeah, it'd stop me from drafting Will Levis.
Now, I don't personally drink animal milk. I don't. I think it's a marketing ploy. It's not necessary, in my opinion. But if you're deathly afraid of milk,
Saudi stooge.
and then you walk in and I hand you a banana and you don't peel it, you just eat the banana and the peel, dude, I'm out. I'm kicking your ass out.
Yeah.
I'm not only not drafting you, I'm kicking your ass out of the building.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Peace out, bro. We'll mail your shit to you. You're out.
You can drop back to Kentucky.
See you later, dude. Good luck in your finals, because you're not coming
Dude,
here.
I just don't understand it. Dude, it's just weird, man.
Scammer Trolling says, finally, I'm glad someone is standing up to Big Milk. Oh, milk is one of the biggest scams in the world. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
Animal milk is not necessary.
Yeah.
It's not. Oh, God, here we go. KW, are we going to argue over milk now? What has happened to this show? KW Spangler says, big difference between not liking milk and being scared of milk. Totally. Teddy Wayman, member of the show, Tile King of Utah. Scared of milk, eats bananas with the peel on? Yeah, I'm definitely ain't drafting him. That's some voodoo crap. Jackass. Exactly right. Jaron Eccles says he's probably into soaking too. Tanner, where's Tanner Plummer?
Do you know, buddy? He's right there.
He is.
Yeah.
There he is. Tanner, who's a member of the show, says he eats an unpeeled banana. So what? If he can ball, that's all that matters. No, bro, because this dude's got to fit into your locker room.
I'm not having Buddy walk into the locker room in his jockstrap while he eats an unpeeled banana. That's not happening, bro. It's not.
Jeremy Callahan, would it stop me from drafting him? Hell no. It would encourage me to draft him. Fear the teats.
Dude.
Correctamundo.
Let's go. A new hashtag winner, Fear the Teats.
Fear the teats.
My dude, I love it. Craig Thompson McCluskey, the mayor of Montytown, by the way. You know who else eats bananas without peeling them? Your one and only Alex F. Caruso. I've heard that about him.
By that.
You know. Jeff Johnson says, not necessary. What delicious beverage is necessary? Milk is amazing. Oh, I cannot. Now, I have had ice cream in the last 5 years.
We're not talking about milk products. We're talking about milk.
I don't think I could do it. If you handed me a glass of milk, I wouldn't be scared of it. I just don't think I could drink it.
Gross, dude.
I don't. Tanner says this is literally the dumbest discussion ever. So in the history of the world.
Figuratively, literally.
So is a hot dog a sandwich then? Maybe we should bump up our discussions. Is a hot dog a sandwich, Tanner? Don't try me, bro. Don't try me.
Bro.
Oh, my God. But he's not wrong.
Is cereal soup.
Stop. This is not highbrow conversation, but it is an interesting point, though. This is what happens in interviews at the Combine.
Yeah.
This is now, frankly, I'd rather have this than some other conversations. Thank you, Court McMullen. Everything is a sandwich. Damn right. Tanner, is a hot dog a sandwich? Now that's a better discussion. See, like I'm here to please.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
I am here to please the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now you got to reciprocate because we've had 2,000 people watch the show and we only have $1 or 158 likes. Let's go.
Yeah, come
Those
on,
are
pick it
rookie
up.
numbers. Pump
Let's
those
go.
numbers up. Let's go. Hit
Let's
the like
go.
button. All 340 of you. Appreciate that. Don't forget, coming up in 5 minutes, Brian Lawlor from Scripps Sports will join us. We're now having a hot dog versus sandwich.
Dude.
Yes, hot dog is a sandwich. Thank you. Jacob DeLambo, a hot dog is a milkshake. Thank you. Milk is a sandwich. Thank you, Gumby. Milk is a sandwich. Ketchup is a thick smoothie. Jay, are you a ketchup guy?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah,
I'm not really.
What do
a
you
ketchup
mean you're not a ketchup guy?
I have
swear to God, if we have a hot dog in spring training and you don't have ketchup on it,
good chance I won't.
dude, come on.
I will. Ketchup on hot dogs, good.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
Ketchup on tots, not so good. Ketchup on fries,
I'm
not
a
so
ranch
good.
and barbecue guy for tots.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mayor McCluskey says the dumbest conversation was whether you stand or sit to wipe your poop.
Team lean, baby.
Team stand.
Team lean.
Team squat.
Dude, that
Squat and
still
pull.
is mind-boggling to me.
Squat and pull,
That
baby.
you're a squat and pull guy.
No.
Like what?
See, Mayor McCluskey, we do have. Is it time? Maybe this is a new feature on the show.
Yeah.
The stupid conversation of the day.
Yeah. It's 5 o'clock. Time to have a stupid conversation.
Gumby, now we're gonna start this team lean.
That's right.
Stop it.
He's even got the sunglasses emoji. That's my guy right there.
What's up, big bro?
This show is unbelievable. Tanner says, "Who else is Team Stand? Are you Team Stand?"
Wait, Tanner's team stand?
Tanner's Team Stand. Okay. Jeff Johnson says Team Lean.
That's right.
Teddy Wayman is. Oh my God! In all seriousness, you guys, I love you. I love doing this show every day because we just laugh sometimes. We have a lot to talk about today. Brian Lawlor is, if he's watching the show, he's like, dude,
quote, squat and pull.
You guys, something else came up, man. You know, I can't, I can't make the show. My internet went out. You know,
Yeah, the internet.
some other time, never I'll be on. You know, we'll never reschedule. Right?
Okay.
Like, no, man. Oh, stop. Gumby says leaner, stay cleaner. See what he did there? You got time to
Wow.
lean. You got time to lean. You got time to clean. You know.
Yeah.
You know. McKinley Cutler says team lean all the way, specifically to the left.
How the fuck else would you do this job?
I don't know. Monty goes back to front. No!
Oh, dude.
Stop it!
Dude.
Why would you? Oh my God, that is terrible. No,
Bro.
nobody does that. No. Nobody. Control. You guys? You stop it.
It's internal.
All right, Brian Lawlor from Scripps Sports is going to join us in like 3 minutes. How important is streaming to you guys? I think it's critically important. I think it is the beginning and the end. Jake, how important is streaming to you?
Yeah, I think streaming is streaming from the standpoint of sports. I think is crucial. I think, you know, obviously it's a pretty straightforward concept that we all want sports on our phone, but I think that, you know, being able to get it when I want it, like in the moment, because that's really for me what it is. Like I may not wake up tomorrow and be like, damn, like I got to catch, you know, Matsuyama at the Masters in his first round on tee hole 6, right? Like that's not what I'm thinking about with something like the Masters or you know, college football. Let's say like there's a lot of college football games where I'm like, yeah, you know, like that's probably a second half game for me. You know, I'm probably not going to get into that thing until 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Then I'll flip it on and get into it and like really be about it. And there are some times where 10 minutes in the third quarter, 10 minutes left in the third quarter, I'm at Harmon's or I'm driving somewhere or I'm doing something, but I want to be able to pick up my iPhone, open the ESPN app and get it. And right now you can't.
I think it's critical because I'm a big believer in meeting your clientele where they want to be met. I think if you're somebody that's broadcasting a game, and this is something that both the Big 12, frankly, and more to the point, the Pac-12 have really struggled with, is getting their product in front of their prime viewer. I think it's critically important that when you have a game and you have money in those games and you have partners and sponsors, and you have teams and universities that are counting on that ad money to fund their sports programs. You have to win at a very high level. And I think the issue is when you're not streaming, I feel like you're not winning at the highest level. Now, is it the only thing? No. Are we ready for, Pac-12 to be all streaming? Probably not. If we're being totally honest, probably not. The conversation we had about sports bars on this show last week, I think is really important. But I think streaming has to be a part of everything you're doing. And if you are not streaming, if you are not using, if you're a minor league sports team, I think you have to be using YouTube. I think if you are a college football conference, I think you have to be using mobile apps. I think you have to be using web traffic. You have to be putting your video content all over streaming or all over social. If you're not using Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish, but you're not doing your best.
I think it all goes back to this term that we all used to use 10 years ago, guerrilla marketing. Well, I remember that term where you would just hit the streets and hand out pieces of paper and you would just get to as many people as you possibly could get to. That I feel like is what streaming is now, because you don't have to pay. This has been my main point on the Pac-12 for 2 weeks now. The Pac-12 doesn't need to go to market to do this. They simply don't have to. They want to. They think that they can't get it done because they've already technically tried on Pac-12 networks, but I think they don't need to do that.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in reaching your customer where they want to be reached. I think if somebody wants to watch a game on their phone, you got to be able to reach them there. And I think that's been the major struggle of somebody like the Pac-12. All right, without further ado, Brian Lawlor, the president of Scripps Sports, joins us. Well, wait, hang on.
Hey, guys.
We'll go. Hey, see, we're all it looks good now and stuff. Brian, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
I'm good. I came in and you were saying, talking about reach. I couldn't agree more. It really helps when people can actually find you.
Well, but the funny thing is about a guy like you, I think right now you guys are that new hip cat on the block, right? You guys are something. I think Scripps, obviously I've worked in broadcasting for 30 years. I know what Scripps is, right? EW Scripps, it's a big brand. What are you guys about right now? Why is Scripps Sports a thing?
Yeah, look, I think it's a unique moment in time. To your point, we're a 144-year-old media company, so we've been around a long time. We, really are known as one of the highest quality journalism companies in America. But we're all about serving local communities. And, I think as we look at where people are at now relative to, the way they engage with media and television, a lot of our business is, owning 61 local TV stations. We own some national networks, and hands down, the most powerful content on television today is live sports. So 95 of the top 100 shows on television last year were live sports. And so, I think, as we look at where people are spending their time and where advertisers are putting their money, it's all around live sports. And we have, a great footprint nationally and locally, and that footprint is not tucked behind a paywall. It's not cable and satellite only. I mean, we are, it goes back to when we grew up, right? I grew up in New York, and the Mets, the Yankees were free over-the-air broadcast, and and everyone could see it. And to the point you were making just when I dialed in talking about reach, that is the biggest problem right now facing teams. And when they did their last distribution deals, in many cases, those were 8, 10, 12 years ago. They, signed a contract with a regional sports network, and those regional sports networks are reaching 80% of the markets because cable and satellite was in its heyday. Well, now look at all the cord cutting and the cord nevers that have developed in, the last decade or so. And so instead of reaching 80% of your customers, there are teams that we're talking to that their product is visible to 30 or 40% of their market. And so imagine owning a Major League Baseball team or an NBA team, and only 30% of all the households in your viewing area can see your product. You got a giant business problem there. And I think that's the beauty of, what local broadcasters can step back in now, we've got to have real honest conversations with these teams about the economics, because, the other side, that what's been built for the last decade has been built on, okay, I'm a team, I sell my rights to a regional sports net, and basically they just turn around and sell those rights right to cable and satellite. They get a cut in the middle, and that money goes back and forth. Well, we don't have that same opportunity in many cases. We're already getting paid by them, but we're not going to get that giant bump that the sports networks did. And so there is a, kind of an economic reset that needs to happen with the teams. But the conversations with them are, hey, you can get a nice paycheck and cash it, and that feels good. But when you're only reaching 30% of your audience, what's that doing to tickets, suite sales, merchandise, sports betting? Like, all of those are ways that teams make money. And so maybe it's all right, I reset. I get now, instead of reaching 30% of the households in the market, I go back to broadcast. I can reach 100% of all the households in the market. Suddenly people are flipping channels, and there's my product where they normally couldn't see it. And now, hey, a 12-year-old, the Rockies, right? Or pick a team, but the Rockies come out of spring training. They got some new rookie. The rookie hits 8 home runs in the first 12 games. All the 12-year-old boys are talking about it in school, right? Kid comes home. Well, he can't see the game. Imagine if he can come home, he's flipping channels. There's the game. It's, they're in the 6th inning of a 2-2 game. And, now they watch this rookie come up. He hits another home run. Now this 12-year-old's buzzing about it. He's back talking about the kids in school. What is he doing? 2 weeks later, he's going, hey, Dad, this weekend, can we go to a Rockies game?
Yeah.
Right. And then, and suddenly they go out. Now they're buying tickets. They buy a couple of Rockies T-shirts, and now he's watching more games. Like, you're completely missing that opportunity now with the way the business model is. And so I think it's just a time for a reset. And we're sort of going back to, the basics. But, we still got these giant over-the-air broadcast signals. We're distributed on cable, on satellite, on over-the-air, on OTT channels and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's a really good opportunity and a moment in time for a reset with many of the professional sports teams.
Brian Lawlor, president of Scripps Sports, joins us on the Monty Show. Brian, let me ask you directly. There were a lot of rumors that came out a couple of weeks ago, or I guess last week, that Ion Scripps Sports was talking to the Pac-12 about doing a deal. Do you care to comment on that?
We're not going to have a deal. We're not going to be in the, the primary distribution of the Pac-12. So I think that story got a little ahead of itself.
A little?
Yeah. A lot ahead of itself. So.
Right. But I think what's interesting about that is when you look at, I immediately lit up when I saw the MSG streaming deal, because I'm a big believer in streaming. You talk about growing up in New York. I grew up in Chicago watching the Cubs on WGN. I was that kid that when Andre Dawson became a Chicago Cub, I lost my mind, man. I had a wiffle ball bat in my hands trying to emulate his swing. Like, that brings me back to my childhood. I look at now kids and cell phones, and I look at this deal that MSG did where they're going to stream the Rangers and the Knicks and for some reason the Islanders, because there are no Islander fans, but that's not the point. The point
I'm
is
a
that they're
huge Islander fan.
But I thought that was a game-changing deal.
Yep. No, I think that's one of the interesting things now is in this moment of time, we also, and I'm just talking about Scripps, like, I don't think it has to be either or. I think really what teams should be thinking about is both. And we're having that conversation with them. It doesn't have to be, like cable and satellite. All they wanted to do was protect. You can't, the only place you can get it, we're going to pay a lot of money, but the only place you can get it is cable or satellite. And so now they're missing 70% of the audience. You look at the Major League Soccer's deal with Apple. Well, that's a lucrative deal, but it's tucked behind a paywall, and you're going to miss anybody who is not a dead loyal fan who's willing to pay, $89 or $99 a season.
Yeah.
They're never going to be in front of them. I actually think the answer is both. We should be talking, and we are talking with folks and saying, all right, look, let's look at the reach. To your point earlier, right? It's all about, let's get your product out in front of everyone. And then let's also talk about, let's create a direct-to-consumer product together. that we're going to broadcast the games, and all of them or most of them will be available over the air. Let's create some unique content, maybe some secondary audio streams, some unique. I mean, think of like the Manning cast. There's places now in states where sports betting's legal, where they have a secondary audio stream or even video stream that's putting a lot of data and stats around sports betting. You can create such unique, personalized engagement that somebody will pay, $12 a month for that, in addition to, being able to watch it over the air. So I think it doesn't need to be either or. I think there's an opportunity to really engage fans where you get put the product out there, let everyone see it, build a big audience, and then own the fan, own the data on the fan and that customer experience. And in that direct to consumer, you create all those secondary streams, but there you can do merchandising, there you can, do ticket sales or sports betting. And there's all these new revenue streams. And when you are controlling all the data and the customer experience down there, I think there's all new revenue streams that ultimately the teams get whole, but suddenly their reach and visibility is so much greater.
But why do you guys, this is a crazy question, I admit it. Why now? Why the appetite now to get involved? Like, it's terrifying to me. Obviously we talk to a lot of Utah Jazz fans. We talk to a lot of baseball fans, and we hear about what's going on with Bally's. And I think, AT&T Sportsnet is in this crazy position because they're still trying to keep rights of NBA teams, but they're cutting the Utah Jazz. On March 31st, the Jazz potentially won't be on AT&T Sportsnet, even though those are their solutions. But it seems like such a tough economy and such a tough marketplace to break into being partners with professional teams on their media rights. Why now is it a good time for you guys to get involved in this?
So two things. Number one, the moment in time, the acceleration of cord cutting and the fact that cable and satellite subscriptions are down below 50% in almost every market. And so it has just been building to this. For us, we've been watching it happen and sort of guiding where teams and leagues contracts are expiring, and that moment is starting, now and will over the next couple of years. So we sort of picked our moment, having talked to teams, leagues, and others over the last year or two. We saw this building and it just kept accelerating. So, I think it was just a moment in time. And then, the other question that you're asking is fair, is the economics and how do you afford it? And I think it's just, again, the moment in time allows for a reset. We don't have any desire to walk in and be the white knight that just pays the teams the same money they were paid in the past, and then just get that all we get to do is distribute and that's it. We want to come in, let's build businesses, let's create a unique partnership that's almost like joining two media companies. Because let's face it, these teams, they have content, they have revenue, they have celebrities. They're a content company, right? And they have massive revenue. We're a content company and with significant revenue. We have customers, we have advertisers, they have customers, they have advertisers. We're both creating content. Theirs is sports, ours is sports, news, entertainment. But let's bring it all together. Let's reset what a relationship looks like. Let's create a direct-to-consumer product together, not competing against each other. But let's own the customer at the top and reach together. Let's own and build a business at the bottom together. And so the economics don't have to be what they were, because they really don't work for traditional media companies in the old model. But in the new model, rethinking it, I think everyone makes more money.
Is it simply, as we visit with Brian Lawlor, the president at Scripps Sports here on the Monty Show, is it strictly something that is, hey, the game itself? Do you envision you guys getting into, the behind the scenes stuff, the mic'd up stuff, the Drive to Survive, the Full Swing? Like, I just found Full Swing on Netflix and I can't let it go. Like, I am all into that show. Do you guys ever see yourselves as an entertainment company? Do you guys see yourselves doing that unique one-off content?
I think definitely. Look, I think the mic'd up, the stuff in the huddles, the stuff, pregame in the locker rooms. Fans want to see that stuff. They want more transparency and visibility. And, I got to 20-year-old son. I got an 18-year-old daughter. They're both sports nuts. They consume so much sports content, but it's not traditional. And the stuff that they're seeing from what's happening in the locker rooms and what the players are doing, like that stuff's amazing. We got to get that to a bigger profile because it's going to engage older audiences and younger audiences. So I think we need to do that. And then I think at the end of the day, we'll definitely get into some of that shoulder programming and documentaries and other content. It's really, really engaging. For us, it's just, I want to find out first what sports we're going to, get deals done with. So then I can understand what I should be, looking to kind of wrap around it.
What are you so you're a New Yorker. What are you a fan of? Because are you a Ranger fan?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm an Islander
I hope you're not
fan.
an Islander fan after what I said about the Islanders. But
yep.
What are you a fan of?
Look, a big football fan, college pro. I'm a big hockey fan. I am an Islander fan. I live in Cincinnati, which is where the company's based, but I subscribe to the NFL package, the NHL package, and watch a lot of Islanders. You got to understand the 4 years that I was in high school were the 4 years the Islanders won the cup. So there's
that's awesome.
I mean, it was an unbelievable time. But I think more than anything, working in this company for a long time, I ran all of our television station business for a long time. What I love is stories and I love passion. The college basketball tournament starting now. I was out this weekend in Boise at the Big Sky Conference tournament and watching, even the 7 and 8 seed females sitting at the court and watching that. I just, I love watching people compete. I love sports. As part of our Big Sky contract, the weekend before Thanksgiving, I was out at the Montana State football game. Man, you want to talk about an unbelievable rivalry. You want to talk about community. In the 5 biggest markets in Montana, the television ratings for the Montana State football game were as big as and even bigger than the Super Bowl. I mean,
wow. That's awesome. By the way, you probably didn't even recognize Boise. How about that town? Man, like that is a different. You want to talk about, this is the interesting thing, not to belabor the point or talk your ear off, but you talk about Montana, you talk about Idaho, you talk about, Gonzaga basketball is in a really interesting place. And that geography has completely exploded. Boise is a completely different place than it's ever been.
It is. And it's a great town and it's a great sports town. Perfect host, by the way, for the Big Sky. And by the way, you guys are, in Utah on Saturday. I had the opportunity to go to one of the largest collegiate esports competitions. So they have 4 regional, esport competitions that feed to a national championship, and the Utes were there. And so I got to watch the Utes compete. But, here's the University of Arizona. You're looking at UCLA. It was unbelievable. It blew my mind that, these are kids that it's not how I grew up thinking about an athlete. These kids are on full scholarships. They train like crazy. They're on eating regimens and watching literally, 30 teams with all their athletes, competing in this way. It was an unbelievable event. And so you asked me what excites me, like just seeing this competition. I don't understand Overwatch. I don't even know what the heck they were doing on the screen, but the competition, the passion, the chanting, I mean, it felt like, a college football game in a totally different environment. And so I think sports has a unique way of connecting people, creating passion, energy, bringing communities together, creating celebrations. And that's what I love. And this is a really neat moment in time for us to bring that back so that it's not tucked behind a paywall, but the entire community can celebrate when the Utes gymnastics team, right, is in, the NCAAs. Everyone should be able to watch that. You shouldn't have to have a paid subscription and, only 30% of people could see that. Those are incredible student athletes. They should be celebrated and people need to see them.
Wow, that's awesome. Brian, really good to see you, man. I appreciate your time. Best of luck. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, let's do that. Good seeing you. Thanks.
There you go. Brian Lawlor, president at Scripps Sports. Really good dude. Like, I told you guys he was going to be a great conversation. He is a guy that I'm telling you, they are in a very unique place because they view sports very differently than your Amazon Primes or your, the all or nothings. How interesting is it to hear him say it doesn't have to be one or the other, but a mix of both. Like it just tells you that there doesn't have to be this hard, fast attitude or this this staunch, we have to do it this way. I think that's where leagues like the Pac-12 get in trouble with the Pac-12 networks.
Yeah, well, I think that the real meat of that concept is the turning of the tide towards streaming. I mean, you heard what he said. I mean, you heard that cable cutting is, has the cable industry subscriptions down under 50%. And I think that's a great point by him. And I think, when you look at, conceptually, like how people are really consuming content, like it's clearly heading in the direction of streaming. But I don't think that means that, a Scripps Sports or, whatever company you want to look at can't still have a really pretty sizable portion of the pie. And I think that, the Pac-12 is not in the position it's in because there's a lack of options. The Pac-12 is in the position it's in because they didn't act quick enough and they weren't prepared.
Yeah,
and I think they're paying that price. And I think, I look at a company like Scripps and I say, they're in an enviable position, honestly, because they're looking at the market and they're saying, okay, there's a lot of desirable product out there that we would love to be, the home of, the distribution home of. We just got to go out and find one. And it sounds to me, based on what he was saying, that they're kind of in that process. I mean, you heard what he said. You had asked him about, hey, that behind the scenes stuff, the mic'd up stuff, the in the huddle stuff. What was his answer? Well, we got to figure out who we're gonna partner with and who we're gonna distribute, and then based off who we're gonna distribute, then we'll go and make that content. So I love hearing that it's on their mind. There's just a process that has to play out.
Yeah, I think it's imperative, and what's exciting to me about guys like Brian is they're not stuck in one way of thinking. And I don't mean to be redundant, but when you have a guy that can see all sides of things, that's what the Pac-12 needs. You need to survive. The Pac-12 is going to have to get way out of its comfort zone. To survive, the Pac-12 is going to have to do some unpopular things, both internally unpopular and externally unpopular with its fans.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do things that are uncomfortable for you if you want to survive. I think that is critically important. I cannot stress enough to you guys that you have to think outside the box, because if you don't think outside the box, I'm telling you, you're going to make the same mistakes you've always made. You're going to do the same things you've always done, and that's going to get you the same place you've always been. And it's to hear Brian Lawlor from Scripps Sports say, hey, we're not doing it the same way they've always done it, where you pay some huge sum up front and distribution fees. And I love that because it's outside the box. It's how we grow.
Yeah.
That's what's exciting to me. The Monty Show presented by Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. If you're in Utah, make sure you stop by any of their 5 locations in Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and, of course, our friends in Murray on State Street across from the mall. Anytime you hear the words Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. Think about the best equipment in the barbecue business. All the rubs, the spices, the sauces, the Traeger, the Big Green Egg, the Yoder Smoker, all of the best equipment, all of the best ingredients, and also the best people. That's what we love about Barbecue Pit Stop. Those guys just know everything. There's not a question they haven't been asked. So, my wife made me these incredible pork chops yesterday. Now, I'm old, so I had to get a shingles vaccine, so I didn't feel great yesterday, right? She made me these Parmesan crusted pork chops, and you know what she asked me, Jake? You'd have been proud. Hey, do I need to let these rest?
Damn.
It was unbelievable. I'm telling you, I found my queen. Hey, do I need to let these rest? Boom. They were so good. But where did we learn about resting? We learned about resting at Barbecue Pit Stop. Hey, how long do I need to let my brisket rest? And you know the best part? You can get on their website, bbqpitstop.com, and you can chat with them right on their website. Hey, how long do I need to let this pork chop rest? Hey, is asado seasoning from Flavor Knuckles? Monty says it's the best seasoning in the world. Is that really true? You can buy it online. Shop online, bbqpitstop.com, or get to any of their 5 Utah locations: Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and our good friends in Murray. Let's get your comments in here. What'd you guys think of Brian Lawlor? Gary says, I'm all in on streaming, still 5 years away from being dominant. Okay. I'm with you on that. T. Lawrence Gragston says, East Coast guy working out of the Midwest could save West Coast Pac. Yeah, but he was pretty unequivocal. They're not involved in the Pac-12.
Yeah, that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there was not a lot of room for... Didn't need to interpret that much. T. Lawrence also says, right, Jim, go Just go Ion and stream. Brian sounds like a Big 12 commish. Brian Lawlor, Cincinnati. Hey. Yeah, he's in Cincinnati. How about that? You know, I love it. Jim Choi says Pack might be better off with Scripps. Well, the question is who, you know.
I mean, he pretty well shot that down.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
DWE. I'm a KC Royals fan. Bally's has been a disaster. Well, the hard part is that they got in so deep financially. I just don't know that there was a way for them ever to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come in and you take on the debt they did and the rights fees, and I mean, it's almost impossible to ever be profitable on that. And if you guys don't know, Bally's broadcasts, you know, like in Arizona, they're the Suns in the D-backs, or like across the country, they have a massive reach with sports teams. But now they're bankrupt and they're going through bankruptcy, or about to anyways, and there's a chance that they're out of business. So the NBA and Major League Baseball are trying to find alternatives for this season, like tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out, hey, when Bally's goes out of business, what are we going to do? It's a really frustrating and sad thing for sports fans.
Yeah.
Tanner said, hey, have you guys decided what time your birthday bash will be? Yeah, it's 6 o'clock.
I think we have to lay those details out for people.
I think we do, because clearly we have not done a good enough job doing that. Travis Clement Smith says, is the Yormark angle for decoupling basketball the ability to sell overseas markets? Gonzaga has been big on foreign players for a while. He has hinted that basketball is more international. I think what he is saying there is that you have an opportunity to make more money globally, domestically, internationally, all across the globe, and you have to take advantage of that. And I think the other thing that's very clear is Fox is all in. Fox Sports is all in on college basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Big 12 deal, I think, what is it, 63% or something like that is owned by Fox Sports, college basketball in the Big 12. You look at the fact that, you know, sources have told us that Fox Sports is willing to pay more money to bring Gonzaga into the Big 12. I think that's the single biggest factor in why Gonzaga will wind up in the Big 12. I think because Fox wants them in the Big 12.
Gonzaga.
And I think if Fox wants you in the Big 12 and they're willing to kick down more money for that, I think you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fox sees very little value in Pac-12 basketball right now, which is why they're out on the Pac-12 altogether, reportedly.
Because it's garbage.
I just think it makes all the sense in the world to split basketball and football, because you can do different distribution deals that will make you more money.
Yeah.
That's the biggest deal. And I also think the non-conference matchmaking is a big deal. I think it is a very big deal, that you have to be able to monetize your sports and your membership just as much as you can.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a little bit of breaking news. Sham Charania from The Athletic and Stadium says details on a recent players-only meeting where veterans pushed for better discipline on the road for the Memphis Grizzlies related to John Morant. This story is not getting better. And we're going to do this in 18 minutes. We're going to shift to NBA. But this John Morant story is terrifying.
Yeah, it's deep.
And he's looking at a 50-game suspension by the NBA. We'll talk about that coming up here in about 18 minutes after Football at 50, presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza. I love the idea of splitting basketball and football. Love, love, love that. DWE says, I've heard that Yormark has positioned the idea of the Big 12 playing exhibition games in Europe, especially for basketball.
Yeah.
Especially there, although I will say there has been a lot of people have talked about an all-star team of college baseball players traveling internationally to play some games, which I think is interesting because college baseball is a bit bigger of a venture than people think.
Uh-huh.
And I think all of this stuff makes money.
Yeah.
All of this stuff makes money. It's content. And what did Brian Lawlor from Scripps tell us? What I always say, what are the Utah Jazz? Well, they're a basketball team. No, friends. They're a content creation company that happens to create content on basketball.
Right. Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
And we talk about this all the time. We consult certain people. And the first thing I always say is everything that you do Hey, I'm going to the bathroom. Okay, well, how are we going to get that on tape? How are we going to record that? How are we going to put that on video?
Yeah.
Like, everything you do has to be with the thought of, okay, well, how can I put that on video?
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are successful live in that mindset. The people who are not do not live in that mindset.
Yeah.
And it costs them money all the time. And it's one of those things that's really difficult to execute unless you have everybody on board. Why is the Big 12 thriving right now? Or I think on the verge of thriving.
Right.
If they're able to get Gonzaga, I think that's a huge step forward.
Facts.
And then if the Pac-12 can't keep themselves together, and let's say the Four Corner School, whatever that might be, if that all happens, why are they able to do that? Because they are unified behind Brett Yormark, and Brett Yormark has their position to go out and exercise his best judgment for what's best in the conference.
You're all pulling in the same direction.
I'm just telling. That's why when people asked us over the weekend, hey, how does this work on Gonzaga basketball? It's pretty straightforward. Brett Yormark is having conversations, and people related to him are using their relationships and back channels to pave the roadway. It's what we talked about with Tom Homo on Friday.
Yeah.
We were told point blank that Tom Homo has worked with Utah to try and create a pathway to get Utah into the Big 12. If the Pac-12 collapses, BYU is going to be one of the reasons that Utah winds up in the Big 12.
Yep.
And you know what? I that's exactly how you should be doing business, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that the stuff behind the scenes is what we all want, and I think we can't get it right now, but I think you need to understand that it's happening.
Yeah. Essay says, the interview reminded me of when Las Vegas marked itself as a family destination. It didn't work. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what does that mean,
What does that mean? Yeah. Gage Carter says, I hope the Jazz win on Saturday because I'll be there. That's right. They're in Charlotte.
Thanks for the $4.99.
Yeah, thank you for the $4.99 tip, Gage. Hope you're selling cars like hotcakes. Big Jack 512 says tournaments, hoops, and baseball. Okay, that's cool. Jeremy Callahan says if that all happens, the next target might be Big East schools like Creighton and Villanova. Jeremy Callahan also says Creighton might be a doable flip. Yeah, but what are you going to get paid for? What are you going to get paid for that? You know, like that's what I think is interesting.
Yeah.
I think we try so hard to fit people in. 9 times out of 10, you go with the comfortable fit, especially in these expansion talks.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I'll just go to West Virginia in the Big 12. West Virginia has no business in the Big 12. Nebraska has no business in the Big 10. But why are they there? It's all money, dude. Nebraska is in the Big 10 for the money.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. And rightly or wrongly, that's why they're in the conference. I don't even know that it's.
But I think every conference has those bottom dwellers that are just there for a paycheck. You know, like it's just. It's the nature of the beast, and I think as we continue to work towards a 2-conference setup, you're gonna that situation is just gonna get amplified. I mean, that's just gonna continue to grow.
Yeah, and I don't know why it wouldn't. I think when you look at, I think relationships make the world go round, man.
Facts.
I know that is.
Well, it's
a
cheesy,
cliche,
man. It's cliche,
I know it's cheesy as hell, but I feel very strongly that relationships make the world go round.
Yeah.
And George Kliavkoff does not have them.
Facts.
And that's the thing that's scary, is he doesn't, in my opinion, he does not have relationships with his presidents. He does not have relationships around his presidents. He does not have relationships geographically across the country to help him leverage and grow. I think that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is absolutely a huge problem.
And especially as a commissioner of a conference. I mean, you're the point man. You're supposed to be the guy that's like shepherding the business, and that's why it's so interesting. Like you start comparing commissioners, and like especially when you compare Larry Scott to what George Kliavkoff has done and how closely, or how, the parallels between those two and their struggles. Like,
yes.
It's just amazing. You start digging into the Pac-12, you start to understand that educational people trying to do sports is a recipe for a disaster. And that's, to me, that's the funny thing. Isn't the essence of having a commissioner so that you don't have to do commissioner-type things?
A commissioner
isn't that the point?
You trust.
Yeah.
A commissioner you trust. Brett Yormark has earned the respect, which earned him trust, and he has executed.
Y'all feel me?
And I think that's why he's able to operate with autonomy. Whereas we hear every day from sources that tell us George Kliavkoff has to ask permission to be team lean or team squat.
They texted.
Okay, I'll stop. But you get my point.
Yeah.
He does not have full autonomy with his membership. If he did, I'm certain he would go to buckedup.com and use the promo code Monty to get 20% off of his purchase at buckedup.com.
Facts.
I'm telling you, this is the single greatest shaker you will ever have. You can get it right now at buckedup.com. Click the link in the description below. You get 3 free samples and a Bucked Up shaker. Super easy, awesome stuff. All you have to do is click the link for the free samples below. Now, that's good online only, as is the Monty promo code to get you 20% off at buckedup.com. But the free samples are right there. You click the link, you pick your samples, and then you pick the color of the shaker cup that you want. And I brought this shaker cup in today. You guys are going to think I'm crazy for doing this. I'm undoing my shaker cup, right?
Okay, it's time for science class.
Let's try not to drip everywhere. Look at that. You guys, this is what I want to show you.
Yeah.
Is that this top is what I always talk about. Like, do you see how those blender balls are attached to this post?
Yes.
It's revolutionary. It's technology in science, in fabrication. You know what I love about this? I love that this one blender mechanism, because you can't call it a blender ball, this one mechanism doesn't fall off and go down my garbage disposal. It doesn't wind up in the bottom of my dishwasher. It's easy to use. And by the way, it mixes the heck out of your drink, which I love.
Yes.
I love the Peach Ring BCAs that I drink from Bucked Up. They're awesome. Get this. Don't take my word for it. Go and get it for free. The Bucked Up Shaker, 3 Bucked Up samples free in the link below.
How about that?
I would get the pre-workout. If you're a workout guy, I love how smooth their pre-workout is.
What do you bench?
I'm a huge fan. Probably 225 right now. Try not to lift heavy. But the
you
point
even
is,
lift?
use it. It's super easy. Buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off your purchase, or click the link for the free samples below. Always trying to hook you guys up. You know that the Big 5-0 birthday bash with Brant Keithy and Max Tooley this weekend is presented by Bucked Up. And as always, presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza, who bring you football at 50. 10 to the hour, every hour on the Monty Show. We bring you the biggest stories in football. It's all about quarterbacks. Don't forget, coming up here in about 8 minutes, we'll get you NBA talk. We got to talk about John Morant now. Got to talk about John Morant coming up in 8 minutes. What do you guys make of this Derek Carr deal? Derek Carr is a New Orleans Saint. So as all 327 of you contemplate Derek Carr's awesomeness in New Orleans, hit the like button and ask yourself, what do you make of what the Las Vegas Raiders do now? Because they tagged Josh Jacobs today. Absolutely the right move. There's no question. I think Josh is one of the most undervalued running backs in the NFL. But now they need a quarterback. If you're the Raiders, Jake, are you trying to get Aaron Rodgers? Are you in on Jimmy Garoppolo? Where do you go at quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you're in this situation where, you are trying to get those two guys. I think if the Ravens rock the non-exclusive tag with Lamar, which is what I would do, I would definitely be in on Lamar. And not because I think he's the best option, but because I think that he's one of the best options on the market currently. If he is available, again, assuming they go with non-exclusive versus exclusive, because if they, use the exclusive tag, you can't go after him. So to me, if it's a non-exclusive situation, if I'm the Raiders, I'm going after Lamar. I'm making an offer. To me, I think that the Raiders are in a position where you're effing around, and now you're going to find out. You didn't want to pay Derek, you didn't want to extend him, you didn't want to work it out. So now you get the great joy and journey and venture of trying to replace a guy like Derek Carr. And again, I'm not saying Derek Carr's the best thing since sliced bread, but what I am saying is he's top half of the league, and that's not to be just assumed or taken for granted. And for me, I look around the league and you start to see that you've got the Geno Smiths of the world getting, extensions now. You've got Aaron Rodgers is going to get $60 million this year. Like, I think that you have to start to understand that you got to pay these guys more money than you used to have to pay guys. And that's why if I'm the Raiders, I struggle with this, because Raider fan will tell you Derek Carr is trash. I'm here to tell you he's top half of the league, and that's better than a lot of situations that teams are in.
I also think if you're the Raiders, you have Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator. How do you not target Mac Jones? I would be targeting Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all out on Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm done. I'm not doing that. I'm not interested in that. When I look at the AFC West, if you don't have a quarterback in that league, you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, I don't know what you make of Russell Wilson in Denver, but you've got Justin Herbert, the sex machine. Like, that division is loaded. Geno Smith, by the way, in the AFC or in the NFC West today, looks like he's really close on a 3-year deal with Seattle. You got to have a quarterback, especially in the West. You got to have a quarterback. If you're the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm Josh McDaniels, I'm going after Mac Jones. I want nothing to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. You know that Jimmy G is going to miss half the game.
Yeah.
So if you're the Raiders and I'll even go to the Jets on this. If you're the Raiders and the Jets, your number one is going to be Aaron Rodgers, right? No doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm the Raiders, my number 2 is Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make that deal because they're clearly not thrilled with Mac Jones. Now, granted, they completely, got their heads out of their ass this year and fired their defensive offensive coordinator guys.
Yeah.
And now, you're moving in the right direction, but I think you've got to get it right with Mac Jones. And I think Mac Jones would probably love a change of scenery. And if I'm the Raiders, I'm in. I'm a Mac Jones believer. I know. I'm a Mac Jones believer. I might be the only one, but you can't tell me that Jimmy Garoppolo is staying healthy. I don't buy it.
Yeah. And just so we're all clear, the Geno thing is done, by the way.
Oh, it is done.
Yeah, 3 years, $105 million. Has the opportunity to make $52 million in his first year with incentives. So, he's got his deal.
Geno guy or not a Geno guy? I mean, he had a great year last year.
He had a great year. Like I just said, in an era where you're having to pay these guys more and more, my expectations go up.
I'm a Geno guy. Until he implodes again, I'm a Geno guy. But see, the West should be open. The Rams I think they've cut their entire roster today.
Yeah.
How about the Rams cutting Leonard Floyd?
Yeah, you got balls, dude.
9 sacks. Yep. I think, 3 straight years, I think?
This is what I mean about the league, though. It's cutthroat. That's what I'm saying. Like, this question on Zeke, hey, what should they do with Zeke? Dude, cut him. Send him on, dude.
I would agree with you on that. I think you have to cut Zeke. The problem is, he's probably going to have to be a post-June 1st cut so that you save more money, but that's going to hamper you in free agency. They just have so many more needs. They have so many guys that are free agents in Dallas.
And it's Jarrah. Like, we all know what Jarrah's about.
Yeah, it's circumcising skeeters.
Yeah.
My point is...
And sexual assault, but we won't talk about that.
Wow. My point is, allegedly, I don't know. I think there are good fits and there are bad fits. I think Aaron Rodgers is a guy... And again, this is just my opinion. I think Aaron Rodgers is a guy that should wind up in New York. I think he should be a Jet or he should be a Raider.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no other way to go. The other team that nobody's talking about, surprisingly, what is Tampa doing for a quarterback? They lost some guy who was pretty good. What is Tampa doing for a quarterback?
I thought that they were going to be in on Derek Carr, but that didn't happen. And by the way, he's still in your division. That's the problem. So for me, I don't know what you're doing, and that's why I say, once again, if I'm Tampa, like, if you're willing to go after Tom, are you not willing to go and run after Aaron? Like, I know it's more money, twice the money.
Yeah.
But if you're really that team, like, I don't know. I guess I just feel like you'd be willing to go get him.
Yep, Ja Morant in 2.5 minutes after we tell you about the meatball marinara.
At Papa Murphy's, we do more than just pizza. We do meatballs and marinara.
Papa Murphy's does meatballs?
Oh, I think you mean I do the meatballs and marinara?
And how do you do it, Dad?
How do I do it? How do I do it?
Well, we do it with savory ground beef
covered in tangy marinara. That's how, honey.
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza.
And don't forget the meatballs.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Yeah, the meatball marinara, banging, dude. I'm telling you. You can have them as their own meal. You can chop them up and put them on your pizza. The meatball marinara, highly underrated at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase at $25 or more. The Monty Show presented by the Advocates. Jake, here's a question for you. Should Ja Morant be suspended for 50 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think 50 games is incredibly heavy, but I think it's the price of doing business the way he's been doing business. I think it's definitely a difficult situation, you know. Ja is someone who's 23 years old. Ja is someone who, you know, has been heralded as this great player and is someone who, you know, is up and coming. He's one of the faces of the league, in my opinion. And I'm not saying he's Giannis. I'm certainly not saying he's Luka, but I think he's in that second cut of guy that's coming, like Ja Morant or Jaylen Brown. You know, like, that's a legitimate question. But I think when you start digging into this gun violence stuff, like, it's kind of a fascinating story because it's kind of built. The snowball has kind of started rolling here where, you know, it comes out, you know, that he did the whole laser pointer drive-by. When I heard that, I was like, okay, like, this is some childish high school level stuff. Like, you know, this is kind of who Dylan Brooks and Ja are, you know, but I just, it kind of sat with me wrong. Then it comes out that, you know, he gets in this fight with this kid over pickup basketball, this 17-year-old kid over pickup basketball, goes in his house, walks back out of the house with a handgun in his waistband and is like brandishing it and threatening to like shoot somebody. Then I was like, okay, these are some serious allegations. You know, I'm going to need to see if this actually happened or if this is just the kid kind of talking. And then, of course, we go one step further, and Ja Morant puts himself on video with a handgun on the road in a nightclub. And this is tough for me because I enjoy watching Ja Morant play basketball, but I don't enjoy it so much to the point where I'm going to sit here and defend this guy. This guy needs help. And I love what Taylor Jenkins is talking about in his media availability where, you know, he's saying, hey, like, you know, as an organization, accountability is super important. Obviously, like, there's this level of empathy. I agree with that. You have to have some empathy here for Ja because he's making mistakes. He's young, and obviously the mistakes he is making are unacceptable. You cannot have you know, Plaxico Burress vibes in the club where you're just waving a gun around. And we all remember the story where Plaxico shot himself in the leg. Like, I don't want that to happen to Ja. I don't want Ja to tragically die in gang violence after he thought it was cool to flash the Crip sign. I don't want that to happen to this guy because he is a wonderful talent. The problem is now I don't get to just talk about how wonderful of a talent you are on the basketball floor and how your team is like the bad blood of the NBA. Now I got to talk about gun violence and gang signs, and that makes you a lot more unenjoyable. So should he be suspended 50 games? I think we need to make sure all the evidence is in line. But if it is true that he was carrying handguns on team planes, and if it is true, this story about this kid and getting in fights and stuff, yeah, I think there's no way around a 50-game suspension when you've gone out and violated every rule that you can't violate. That's the problem.
Well, and now the Denver Police Department or some authorities in Colorado are investigating Ja because they do have a open carry. Colorado's an open carry state, but it is illegal to have a gun when you are intoxicated. He was in a club with a gun. I just think you're in so many different layers of trouble here. Nike has come out and supported Ja Morant, which how I am not sure. But I look at this situation, and again, I just want to understand, like, where is T. Morant? All we hear about is T. Morant, his dad, fighting with Shannon Sharp, and where's T. Morant now? You know, like, you're in a spot in the NBA where I'm not sure that they have a choice but to suspend you.
Yeah.
You took a gun, likely, onto a team flight. And at the very least, here's the problem that he can't get away from. And again, I don't know that the NBA can get away from this. The rule is you are not allowed to have firearms in any team activities. And that includes travel. That includes while you're on the road. That includes on your off days on the road. They were in Denver allegedly for this. And you're at a team function. When you go out in public, when you are traveling in the NBA, you are considered to be under team activities. He's got a handgun in a video in a club. How do you not suspend him 50 games? And by the way, if you don't suspend him, what message are you sending to the rest of the NBA? And one of the other things I think is a really critical point here is gun culture in the NBA is probably larger than most people think, in that there are people talking about that there are a lot of guns on team flights. Most people don't go to the club and take videos of themselves using them or having them, but the next guy that brings a gun onto a flight will not be the first guy.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that is really worrisome in the NBA, and I don't know how you fix it other than to make an example out of Ja Morant.
Yeah, well, I think that's a position he's put himself in. I mean, there's just not there's not a great way around that. And that's why I say, like, you broke the rule, right? You violated a rule that's pretty cut and dry, right? Like, the rule literally says you can't have a gun on team planes, team activities, like any of that. Like, if you're at a team function on the road, like, guns are not allowed. And I know it's kind of a crazy sort of conversation to have, but these guys carry. They do. Like, they do. That's just what they do. And I'm certainly not someone who's against open carry states. Like, we live in an open carry state. Like, I see guys at the store, women at the store all the time with a handgun in a holster on their hip. I see it all the time. It's actually pretty normal in Salt Lake, believe it or not. And so for me, the issue isn't that he, like, if it came out that, hey, he had a gun on his hip on a team plane, okay, yeah, you're getting suspended, but I wouldn't necessarily think poorly of Ja, because it's like, oh yeah, he made a mistake. He just brought it on, but he wasn't drunk in a club out at probably 2 a.m. or whatever the hell time it was. Like, there weren't all these other factors, and that's what really bothers me. It's like, I don't judge people for carrying. It's your right to carry. You can carry, but you can't carry when you're drunk. You definitely shouldn't be carrying on Instagram Live while you're drunk with your homies.
You have to follow laws and regulations and rules.
Yeah.
And the NBA went through this thing with Javaris Crittenton and Gilbert Arenas, and I mean, how many issues of gun violence have we seen in professional sports? Far too many.
Yeah.
Far too many. The NFL is littered with them. The NBA has had its fair share of problems. Major League Baseball, like, it's far too many. So you look at Ja Morant and you start thinking about what's at stake for this guy. I'm more worried about the guy, Ja Morant, than I really am about the violation of rules, right?
Right, yeah.
I look at Ja Morant and I ask myself, how come nobody around him is saying anything? How come he doesn't have somebody to say, hey, we're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're screwing this up, dude. Like, how do you not have somebody in your life when you make a decision or you do something that will come to you and say, hey, this is not how we do things? How come nobody's saying that? Is it the money? Is it that he's surrounded by the wrong people? I don't know. I don't know Ja's circle, obviously, but what I do know is everybody I've talked to in the NBA is terrified for this kid because guns are nothing to mess around with. He's got a gun in a club next to his head, bro. You are not far from an accident. It's not like he's being a safe Second Amendment proponent.
Yeah.
That's not what this is. This is him playing around with guns in a club.
Well, and it's how people die. I mean,
yes.
This is like, and I'm not trying to preach at anybody. I'm not trying to be like holier than thou guy, but that's gun safety 101. Like, gun safety tells you, hey, like, the gun is meant to do one thing. So if it accidentally goes off and that goes through your skull into your brain, like, you're dead. That's it. And it's a shame to me. And I know this conversation isn't about basketball in this sense, right? But it's a shame to me that someone with his level of talent and ability and just game is busy in clubs and is busy, fighting 17-year-olds in his backyard and then walking out the front door with a handgun. Like, Ja, do you not have better things to do? Like, I'm here for. I totally get it. Hey, he's 23. He's into a ton of money now. Like, life has changed, right? Money changes people. I'm a huge proponent of that concept, but I'm with you on this one 100%. Like, in the NBA culture, or really even athletic culture, like in the NFL, you hear guys talk about all the time, right? You hear Braun. Let's use Braun as an example. Talk about all the time about how, everyone's taken care of. Mom's got a house and a car. Like, everyone in his circle is taken care of. Money is not a problem for anybody. And it's incredible to me how that changes dynamics. Because think about it. Overnight when you get drafted, the night before you get drafted, you're still going home. You're still in that grind. You're still in that hustle. You get drafted, 60 million into your bank account or whatever. Life is different. But yet you haven't changed. You haven't accepted that responsibility. And that's what I think Ja's got to learn. Like the whole, Kyrie anti-Semite thing, like, for me, is worse, right? Like, Kyrie to me is just mentally is not a good human being. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Ja Morant's a 23-year-old kid with a ton of money on top of the world, thinking he can just do whatever the hell he wants. And he can't. And I think it's high time to be giving guys like LeBron James credit for never having been in this type of situation.
Oh, I think that's exactly right. I think when you look at, it's pretty remarkable how much money guys make now. And we're talking about, the term is generational wealth.
Yeah.
Like, Ja's kids will never have to worry about money. Or they will if he keeps bringing guns on the road in the NBA. And if he keeps, allegedly beating kids and flashing guns at them at his house and during pickup basketball games, or laser pointing at the opponent after an NBA game. Like, it's stupidity. It really is stupidity. Let's see. RW says, time for a peek around the corner on Greg Flugwars. Okay. I don't know who that is.
Cool.
W. Jason Spangler, hilarious. Shannon turned out to be right in this whole saga. Hilarious. You can have all those stupid concealed carry laws you want. You can't bring ish on airplanes.
Yeah, dude.
Truth, private or not, right?
Yeah, whether you're an athlete or you're a consumer, you can't bring handguns or any kind of firearm on an airplane.
Yep. Big Jack 512 says guns in a bar is 10 years in Texas. Utah Jizz says Ja is a studio gangster.
Yeah, and I think this is the other side of this conversation. Like, he's a fake gangster. Like, he's somebody that went to a private school. He's somebody that has a very well-to-do background out of South Carolina, and people are starting to point that out. And I think Ja, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what Ja's affinity for throwing up gang signs is. I don't know. And I'm being genuine here. I'm not even joking around. I don't know if that's him trying to be cool. I don't know, like, if Ja, like, has some affiliation or something. I doubt it. I would be surprised. Frankly, I'd be disappointed, to be honest with you. But when I look at this, hear me out. You're in a club, 2 a.m., whatever time, middle of the night.
Yeah.
Flashing gang signs and flashing guns on Instagram Live as a multimillionaire NBA player. That is not a recipe for success. And people are genuinely worried that Ja Morant's going to get himself in trouble, like, on the streets. And that's scary to me, like, very scary.
I think it is fascinating, the inability to realize what is happening in your life. And you know who I'll point to? I'll point to Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you appreciate Donovan Mitchell while he was here? Because you never worried about this stuff that Ja's doing, right? You never worried about the stuff that Kyrie's doing.
Nope.
How much, and I agree with you, how much credit does LeBron not get for not being a complete moron at 18 years old when he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the chosen one? I think I've told this story on the show. I talked to him like a month, I think, after that came out. Sonny Vaccaro did a showcase tournament at the United Center in Chicago, like right after that came out. And LeBron was a guest on our show. And just sitting there talking to him, you felt like you were talking to an adult. Like, the guy has been different. He is different. He's always been different. Ja Morant doesn't feel like that to me. He feels like a guy. The thing that worries me about Ja Morant, he is Antonio Brown. You're like, you're going to wake up one day and Ja Morant's going to be dead.
You think it's that bad with him?
Yeah, well, dude, when you're playing with guns like this, he allegedly beat a 17-year-old kid. He brings Ja Morant brought a 17-year-old kid to his house for pickup basketball. They got into some kind of heated argument. They got into a physical altercation. The 17-year-old alleges Ja went into his house, got a gun, had it in his waistband, and was essentially saying, hey, he had his hand on the gun in his waistband at his house against a 17-year-old kid over an argument over pickup basketball.
Yeah, that's stupid.
You're going to wind up dead.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take a tough guy to carry a gun. It doesn't even take a tough guy to pull a gun out. But now what happens when you pull the trigger? Now what happens? Because you can't get the bullet back. You can't say, just kidding. Ah, man, I wish I hadn't done that. All right, time to go to practice. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Because most guys you're shooting at, they probably have guns too.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. This whole thing is stupid. That's all this is. Teddy Wayman gives us a $5 tip. Thank you, Tile King of Utah. Teddy legit is the Tile King of Utah. If you need tile done, find Teddy Wayman. Gilbert Arenas had a situation like this years ago. It was in December, and they suspended him for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And if you don't remember, Gilbert Arenas got into an argument, I think over a card game, with teammates on the plane. And then he brought in a selection of guns, including a gold-plated Desert Eagle, and had it on a tray in the Bullets locker room. Like craziness, dude.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Ended his career, essentially. Spangler. Yeah, Arenas' career was over after that. What was left of it anyways? Exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, it's just, it's so dumb. It is. Sadly, Jeremy says that might be what he wants, a death wish. I hope not. Brent Burnett says, Ja's situation way bad. Young man needs help from those that are using and abusing him. Well, that's the thing. Like, who is influencing him? And good or bad, influencing him to empower him. But you're empowering him to carry guns or to be, like physically abusive to a 17-year-old kid. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Gangs can really destroy people. I'm not going to go and say he's in gangs. I think you're going a little farther. CJ Vance, why are there reactions to John, the media, of hope he gets well? But with Kyrie, it was more condemning what he did. By the way, I think both situations are bad. Well, I think when you're an anti-Semite, which is what Kyrie Irving is, and Kyrie Irving's, how old is Kyrie Irving? 30-something?
Let me confirm.
He's not like a young guy that's up and coming. But I will say this story from
30.
He's 30, Kyrie.
Yeah.
So Shams had a story today that players melted down in a players-only meeting because there was no accountability or leadership. But this is what I always say about the Grizzlies. They're team tough guy. Who's the vet on that team? Who's the guy teaching them how to win? Well, it should be Mike Conley. But he went to Utah, and now he's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They need a Mike Conley. They need somebody in that locker room to put their arm around Ja Morant. It should be a guy like Vince Carter who was there. They need somebody like that to put an arm around Ja Morant and say, hey, man, you are giving your life away.
Yeah.
It is. Because let's be honest, and I don't think I'm even being harsh about this. Ja Morant's on the clock. He's either going to knock this off and become an elite professional, or he's going to be dead, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you don't play with guns long. You don't playing with guns is a very short time syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game you don't play long.
Yeah, and by the way, I think the reason that, the media was so harsh with Kyrie is because it's Kyrie Irving. Because he's 30 years old. He's won a championship. He's been around,
And he's obtuse.
Yeah.
He's just... Kyrie Irving is a guy that...
wants to fight.
He likes to argue guy.
Yeah.
He's flat earth guy. He's Ramadan guy.
Which is fine. By the way, which is fine. Hey, it's cool if you want to be a flat earth guy. No one's got an issue with that. I can think that's incredibly dumb, right? But that's just my opinion. He's entitled to that. He has the right to think the earth is flat. And I'm being genuine.
Does.
He has that right. You don't have the right to hate on someone because of a protected class. You don't have that right,
No.
dude. I don't, and whether it's religion or whatever protected class you want to look at, you don't have that right. And Kyrie Irving said a bunch of stuff on Twitter and then wanted to defend it, right? When Nick Friedel was asking him some questions the day after all that had happened. And that's why it blew up, because Kyrie didn't want to say, yeah, you know what? I shouldn't have tweeted about that book on Amazon. I shouldn't have. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody. If he'd have just said that, the media wouldn't have done what the media did. But he didn't want to do that. With Ja, this is a 23-year-old kid who admittedly has been followed since his college days and has done everything that any young kid would want to do who's a hooper, right? He has a shoe deal now. Like, he is super relevant, as I said at the beginning of this conversation.
He is one of the top faces in the NBA.
Right? Like, this is someone that kids admire.
But who's the vet on that team?
There isn't, and I think that's a great point by you. I think that we as observers of the league forget that these guys are human beings. Like, take basketball away for a second. Take the arenas away. Take all the money. Just get down to that, like, the fiber of day-to-day life in the league. Think about it. Vince Carter is a great example. Vince Carter was, 38 years old or whatever he is in that locker room, right? He's the elder statesman telling you, hey, dude, like, this is an issue, not going to do this, going to do that. Like, he's helping these guys. Udonis Haslem is helping these guys. Ja didn't listen to that. Ja thinks he's bigger than that. And that's where I think he needs help. And I think he's fortunate that this isn't like a drug thing. This isn't an addiction thing in that sense. Now, there are some people saying, hey, like, is this alcoholism? Is this an addiction thing? And that's why he just, like, he gets drunk and turns into it.
You know what I think this is? I think this is a young kid sowing his oats on the road. I think this is a young kid that thinks he's bulletproof, that doesn't have to answer to anybody, and nobody's taught him how to be a professional basketballer. This is the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Nobody's teaching them how to be professional. Like John Wall talked about the Houston Rockets, that they didn't have, they thought the way they were playing and the way they were living on the road was okay, and that's the way it was in the NBA. And John Wall told the story that when he got there, he told him, this is not how the NBA works. Don't get used to this. Don't think this is okay. I would say the same thing in Memphis. When you have no veteran presence there, really, I mean, Steven Adams, I guess, but Steven Adams is just a guy. I don't know that anybody looks to him as a veteran leader, but from what I understand, they live a really raucous life on the road. And I think that they don't have anybody to say no to that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sam Lott. What's up, Sam? Good to see you. The Crittenton versus Arenas gunfight over gambling. So dumb. Yes. Yes.
But this, I mean, it's
really
just,
dumb.
It's almost incredible, the shades of this Ja situation to the Gilbert situation.
But do you think that Ja Morant has any idea that situation ever happened?
I think
he does?
I think if you're an NBA player, you at least have heard of Gilbert Arenas, and I think if someone said to a 23-year-old, 3-year, what has he been in, like 3 years now? I think this is third year. I think if you said to a guy like Ja, hey, do you remember the Gilbert Arenas thing? He would at least know somewhat of what you're talking about. He may not know every detail. He may not know like the discipline.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But that's just
he's going to find out now. If he didn't know, now he knows.
Yep. Sean, who's a member of the program, appreciate you, Sean. He says open carry is great. It's better than waiting for cowardly cops to show up 5 hours later. Well, hey, open carry is great, man. It exposes people. I don't mind knowing that a guy's got a gun on his hip. The worst problem is when you don't know some fool's got a gun and you're in a bus, a store, a mall.
Yeah.
You know, as somebody that I'm a gun owner, I'm somebody that I take my gun ownership seriously. I store my guns seriously. I know how to shoot.
Unlike Ja Morant.
You know, like I take it really seriously. So I believe in gun ownership. I don't know that Ja Morant should own a gun. Not based on his behavior. Ryan Buckley says Josh shouldn't be allowed to own a firearm.
Well, I don't know about all that, dude.
I don't know about that.
We can't go too far with this. You know, with all due respect, Ryan, this conversation isn't some constitutional conversation about the Second Amendment or whether open carry is good. This has nothing to do with open carry. This has everything to do with a kid that's $100 millionaire at this point who thinks he's on top of the world and is going to wind up dead if this doesn't change.
And I think he shouldn't be allowed to have a gun right now because he's uneducated and he doesn't respect it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of law enforcement in my family, and my brother said to me once, you know, the minute you turn a gun sideways and you think you're being a hard ass, get rid of it because it's going to kill you. And I agree with that. The minute that you have the picture of Ja, I don't know, do we have the picture of Ja in the club? Like, I look at this picture of Ja in the club, and I say to myself, man, dude, what, like, I don't think we do, but what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Why is this okay? Like, he's literally got a gun right here pointed downward. Just a little 22, it looks like, pointed downward. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's why you shouldn't be allowed to own a gun, because you're going to kill yourself with it.
Yeah.
Go get educated, go get certified, learn how to handle it, respect it, and then let's talk about you getting a permit and owning the gun the right way. And like, that's the way it should be. Nobody should have their right to own a gun taken away until it's no longer constitutionally guaranteed.
Yeah.
But you're dumb. You're going to kill yourself or somebody else. You're going to kill yourself or somebody else. Plain and simple. Big Jack says open carry is good. Guns in bars and planes are bad. Very bad.
Yeah.
McKinley Cutler says it's going to be hard for the NBA to be lenient with Ja after their public stances and promotions the last couple of years. You're exactly right, dude.
I don't know why they need to be lenient. Like, I get it. He's a star. But, again, big responsibility or big stardom comes with big responsibility. And I just think, you know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's the old saying, and I think that Ja Morant needs to learn a tough lesson here, unfortunately.
And the problem is he stands out like a sore thumb on this because most of the guys of his generation, again, I'll talk about Donovan Mitchell. Don's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Don's the guy you want on your team. That's a guy you want in your locker room, in your organization, representing you in the community. How many endorsements did Ja Morant just lose? I mean, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And whether it's Powerade or Nike, who he just signed on with, he's on the verge. He is on the verge of being a Deshaun Watson type who will never get another endorsement because of what his behavior.
Yeah.
This stuff with guns, and you guys, listen, with all the mass shootings and the gun deaths in this country, this is not funny. This is not to be trifled or played with.
Yeah.
That's what I struggle with. You know what it is? That's probably it right there. What were you thinking? And I've heard so much talk about how this has never been a problem in the past because we didn't have social media in the past.
Yeah.
But are you really telling me, John, nobody said, no, you can't put this on social media? You thought it was okay to live stream from a club with a gun. Like, just let that set in.
Yeah.
I could have stopped at live streamed from a club. That's stupid. That's stupid. You should, with a gun.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm just like, dude.
Well, and that's why I think a lot of people think he was intoxicated. He wasn't thinking.
Dan Kinnersley, a member of the program, says everyone that is not a felon should have a gun. They should also get training and be responsible. I think everybody should have to be licensed to have a gun.
Yeah.
I just do. Dante S., there are no problems with Tatum, Zion, Donovan Mitchell, and the like. There are not. That's right. Sean, nope, but concealed carry permits are not possible for everyone. Should not be possible for everyone. Mike Maple, seen too many times open carry guns being stolen. No thanks. You know. McKinley Cutler, you are allowed to have a gun, but you are not allowed to be stupid in public with a gun, endangering everyone around you and yourself. Look at, oh my God, his name went, the wide receiver, Plaxico Burress.
Yeah, yep.
Where he had a gun in his sweatpants. Remember that? He shot himself? Yep. Yeah, dude. Kinnersley says, definitely not possible for everyone. I know for sure. I own a holster company in California. Yeah, it's not possible. It's not. Sam Lott says, but guys, how about them Jazz? Well,
dude,
you know, all of our Jazz and NBA talk here on the Monty Show is presented by our good friends at Quick Quack Car Wash, the best car wash in Utah. Quick Quack Car Wash. I always tell you every day the thing I love about Quick Quack, in and out in 5 minutes, and the car wash is great. The car wash is great. And you get free vacuums, and you get free damp towels, which, if you don't know why that's important, damp towels are the best way to dry your car. You don't want to dry your car with a dry towel. You want to dry your freshly washed car with a moist towel. And they give them to you for free at Quick Quack Car Wash. Oh, by the way, the people are friendly. It's family friendly. Bring your kids, open up the sunroof, let them see all the different colors and the soap. Kids will love the car wash now. Quick Quack Car Wash is where it at. They present all of our NBA and Utah Jazz talk. I know. Here's the question. Probably don't want to answer. Should I say the two letters together next to each other?
Dude, before you say that, I'd like to just say I'm sick and tired of this conversation. I'd like to just say that. Okay, continue.
VW. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Because it's garbage.
Dude.
I don't understand this Utah Jazz are tanking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys believe that do you guys believe the Jazz are tanking? I do not believe the Jazz are tanking. What I believe personally is that the Jazz are trying to win games, but you're trying to do that with a lineup that is less than stellar.
Because it's garbage.
All these Rudy Gay minutes, but who else are you going to play?
Bro, it's masked Rudy Gay.
Thank you, Batman. Are we rushing a Lowry Markkanen back from any kind of injury? I'm not. Oh, because they're tanking. See, no, because we're thinking long term. Do they care about winning or losing games? They don't. If they win, that's great. If they lose, okay, that sucks. Okay, but this is where we are. This team, the Utah Jazz, is in position to win a championship in the next 3 to 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And explain to me, and again, I will just point to Danny Ainge's comments where he talked about 16 years of mediocrity.
The reality is we've had 16 years of, it's better than mediocrity for sure at times in the last 16 years, but at the same time, it really hasn't been championship caliber basketball. And 16 years without getting past the second round of the playoffs, I think is not what any of us want. And so the change is just, okay, here we are with veteran team, had been all in on this veteran team. I think Dennis Lindsey has done a fantastic job in this organization, as did Quinn Snyder. And but I just think we're starting over.
16 years of mediocrity, and you guys think that they're trying to lose every game possible because they want to draft Victor Wembanyama. He's also said in that same interview, I'm too old to tear it down and rebuild it with young guys.
Are we clear on that?
And you think he's trying to lose as many games as possible to get Victor Wembanyama, who, by the way, Jake so masterfully was like, dude, have you seen this picture of Victor Wembanyama? What about this picture, Jake, stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at this picture, like, yeah, obviously VW's taller than Rudy here. But I think the thing that stands out so much is VW is just super slight. I'm not even talking about muscularly speaking. Look at his frame. Look how skinny, like shoulder width wise. Look at Rudy's shoulders and then look at VW's. And I'm not saying that this kid's not going to produce in the league. I think he will produce in the league. But I'm here to tell you this is not going to be some MVP caliber player. You do not come in the league like this at that size, 7'4", 205 or whatever the hell he is, and think that you're going to just move guys around or that you're not going to get dunked on. I think defense is going to be a serious problem for this kid because he just doesn't weigh anything. And I'm not even trying to hate on him. I'm open to the idea that he will be a dominant offensive player. If you're that guy, if you're a VW guy, the hill that you should be dying on is, yeah, sure, he doesn't weigh anything, but his jumper's wet. He's got a great handle for his size, and he'll be able to exploit the matchup, and he's got a baseline fade. He can do some things for you. Okay, die on that hill. This is a problem right here because as much as we want to hate on whatever, Carmelo Anthony for years got hated on because he was a one-way player, offense only. I'm telling you that this kid in this picture right here should tell you everything you need to know that says he will be a one-way player, predominantly offensive.
Well, and I think the other thing is he's already getting dominated defensively. He cannot guard 4s and 5s. So that really pigeonholes him as a 3 in the NBA. How is he going to handle, and I mean, pick the 3 you want to point to.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum, LeBron James, a Kevin Durant, a Devin Booker. It's
Bradley Beal.
It's endless. How is he going to handle that level of physicality at the 3? Okay, we'll slide him down to the 4. What does this kid look like against LeBron James? Now, in 5 years, hey, maybe he looks like a totally different body. He's put on a bunch of physicality. Maybe his game's gotten better. Okay, great.
A Giannis level transformation physically.
That's great. That's not what's a fit for the Jazz. So, again, I can only tell you I've talked to guys at the Jazz repeatedly. They have unequivocally said we are not trying to lose games. We are not, but we're not going to rush Colin Sexton back. We are not going to rush Lauri Markkanen back. And why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you? Making the play-in game is great, but is that really what you're here to do?
No.
So if you're one of the people that believes that the Jazz are tanking, I think you just don't know this. I think you just don't know this organization. You know, like it's one of those things that, yes, Teddy, exactly right.
Yeah.
Just look at Chet. He didn't even make it to training camp.
Yeah, and admittedly, I was a Chet guy. I thought Chet would translate decently to the league. You know, I figured, hey, 6'10", like we've seen this makeup before. Granted, it's only been Kevin Durant really doing what Kevin Durant does. So, wasn't sure that Chet would be able to produce those kind of results. But, I think nobody ever talks about it. Everyone seems to forget that Chet didn't even get hurt playing in the league. Chet got hurt in a summer pickup playing against LeBron, and it wasn't even a physical play. Like, it's an average, I would say, for LeBron, 3/4 speed. He wasn't even really full speed. It was how guys will go, they're running full speed up the floor, but then they take those longer strides at the end to kind of set up the jump to the rim. And LeBron just gave him the classic shoulder to the chest that we all do, right, in basketball. It's a normal play, and Chet pops his foot. And it's just like, dude, holy crap, did I not just see my life flash before my eyes with VW?
And this guy is 7'5", 200, and between, and it depends on who you believe. Some people have him at 207 to 210. Some people have him at 220. Kevin Durant is 6'10", 240.
Yeah.
So 6'10", 6 inches, 7 inches shorter, and yet he weighs 10 pounds minimum more.
Yeah.
And he's got a handle, and he's got a wet jump shot, and he can play defense. Yet this kid who's bigger weighs how many pounds less? Okay, so let's say he puts on weight. Are you going to lose quickness over? It's all I'm saying is, you guys, for Victor Wembanyama to be the best player ever in the NBA is almost impossible.
Yeah.
For him to be the best player of his generation is almost impossible. For him to be an elite player at the NBA level is almost impossible. You've never had somebody 7'5", and the problem is that means his legs and arms are incredibly long.
Yeah.
He's going to take advantage of matchups, sure. But what are you going to do? Put this kid at the point? Because the 3-4-5 in the NBA is not a place he belongs.
Can you imagine him playing Anthony Davis?
He's trying to guard 4s and 5s in France right now, and he's getting shellacked in the post.
Yeah.
Cannot compete in the post. Now, he's torching those guys on offense. There's no doubt about that. But what are we learning about the NBA? You got to defend.
Yeah, and as always, I know, not reinventing the wheel here, defense wins championships in the league. We all know that.
Milwaukee
we see it
and Boston.
Every year, dude. We see it.
Milwaukee and Boston. And I think, look, the Lakers are a great example of this. The Lakers are now able to compete defensively because of Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley, and they're a much better team.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I hope the kid comes in and dominates. I hope he does. Let's see. Northern End Zone Ute says, look at Durant, similar body type. Similar body type, no doubt. I just think Kevin Durant is, to be a 3-4 guy in this league, you cannot be 210.
I disagree that the body type is similar. I think on TV it looks similar, but in person it's not similar. I think Kevin Durant, maybe coming out of college there were shades of, similar kind of, but understand what you're saying there with that. 6'10" versus 7'5". You understand that's like, 6'5" versus 5'10"? It's the same thing. Like, in those terms, you're like, oh, wow, like 6'5", 6'6" is way different than 5'10". So 7'5" versus 6'10" is the same thing. And to me,
Dude.
I look at that and I say, yeah, Kevin Durant's legit 240. And the way that's distributed through his frame has allowed him to play a ton of minutes in a long time and be, until recently, right? I think we could all agree, he was a pretty durable player until the Achilles. And now he's dealt with some things. But overall, when he's playing, he's the most dominant player on the floor. So for me, I look at not just his body, I look at his athleticism. His athleticism is elite.
Do you understand that Victor Wembanyama, as of today, has played 72 total career professional games? And he averages 11.5 points a game career. He's had this 1 year of 22.2 points a game. And the other thing that really stands out to you is he's only shooting 29% from three. So it's not like he's tearing people up. I think it's a long climb for this kid.
What does rebounds look like?
Total rebounds 9.5 a game. He's averaging right now.
So he's not averaging a double-double?
He is not. He is not averaging a double-double. He is averaging 22 points a game, 9 rebounds a game. He is averaging 2 assists a game. He is averaging 28% from 3, 56% from 2. And he is putting up 5 threes a game. And he is putting up 11 twos a game. And it's, I mean, it's just.
I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the boat on this guy, but I just don't see it.
I'm always shocked by that. Every time I look at that number, 72 games is all he's played. There have been so many guys that internationally have been amazing. And the one guy that I hear a lot of people compare him to Luka. You just can't compare the two because their resumes are so different. Luka Doncic popped out of the womb wearing basketball shorts.
And Jordan 11s and shooting game-winning shots for championships.
Like he started playing at such a young age. But I really worry about Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
I really have worries about his long-term ability to succeed. Brandon Butler says the Jazz need multiple guards and power forwards. They should use every asset they have to fill out the roster, not use them all on a huge risk. Yeah, totally agree. Jeremy Callahan says Kevin Durant's an anomaly. His body doesn't really even make sense. His length is odd, and there are guys who are quicker, stronger, faster, etc., that he somehow just annihilates.
Well, now he's got the skill. I mean, now the skill is what just owns you. But
oh my God. NY Monty fan has made his return to the show.
Bro, where have you been?
NY Monty fan has made his triumphant.
Let's go. Welcome back
to the show.
Welcome back.
I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like,
dude, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible, dude.
Wow. Also, look at the talent he's playing against. Very true. Very true. NY Monty fan, good to see you. Just breaking balls, of course. You know. The last time, don't say it, Brandon. The last time the Jazz went for a foreign kid in the top 10.
Why?
Dante Exum. Now, Uncle Monty told you guys to stay the hell away from Dante Exum. Good old Kyle Gunther told me I was quite literally on the air told me I was stupid. It's a pattern, dude. I'm just telling you. NY Monty fan says, I've been teaching seminars and presenting at conferences for 2 weeks. That's weak shit. Let's go.
Yeah, come on, dude.
The show's... No, I'm kidding.
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
In Vegas with this week left to go. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. The Jazz need a true point guard. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Is Colin Sexton that guy?
No.
Teddy Wayman. Carlos Arroyo was really good internationally, too. Look how his NBA career played out. There are just so few guys that come over. You know, like there's just so few. I mean,
Evan Fournier,
even Yao Ming, or the physical freaks that are so above and beyond physically different. The only guy that was really successful is like a Dikembe Mutombo.
Dirk.
But Dirk wasn't a physical freak. Dirk just could play.
He was just better than you.
Dirk could play, but a guy like a Yao Ming who was just injured all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the Like Australia really is the place where guys like the Josh Giddeys of the world, he's not a physical freak. He's just a damn good basketball player. Or, like a Giannis is a pretty rare example. Look at his brothers.
But look what Giannis did to fortify his body, right? Like, people forget that. Giannis came into the league as a stick. And then what did he do? He spent 2-3 seasons building his body, and then he worried about his jumper. Now he's the guy he is. That's what I'm saying. That's what guys need to be doing.
Yeah. I don't know. Sam Lott says Brandon Miller is going to jail. Well, I hope not. Didn't he just win SEC Player of the Year and he dominated the tournament? Rubio was good. Was Ricky Rubio good?
You know he's still in the league, right?
It was okay. Sam Lott says the Jazz need to find a way to get Josh Giddey. Would love to have him. Brady Cook says Jazz need guys that can stay healthy as well. They do. Darren Ingram, what's up, my golfing stud, says if they could get one guy that had top 10 potential, what position would you want that guy to play? Power forward.
Yeah.
Give me a 4 that can just absolutely annihilate people.
That's why Laurie's so fun to watch, And I'm not saying he's that guy, but he is fun to watch.
Can you imagine Walker at the 5, Assassin at the 4?
Yeah.
You have a Lauri Markkanen at the 3. And then you got to find a number 1 point guard, right? Like, I mean, if you can find a 4 that can just blow people up, it's over.
Yeah.
It's because then you got a 3-4-5, and yeah,
facts.
I'm telling you. NY Monty fan says, Teddy, your legend has traveled all around the nation with me. I see missing posters everywhere of your beard. That's exactly right.
Hey, you start talking shit.
That's exactly right. Tucker Brady, what do you guys think of the Thompson twins? Would be awesome if the Jazz went for them. I don't know that anybody, like as a rock band, the Thompson twins were amazing.
Sounds like a cute name.
You don't know who the Thompson twins were?
No, dude. It's before my time. Once again, we do this every day on the show.
God.
Like, dude.
God.
Like,
just
bro, they existed before I was even born, and you expect me to know who these guys are?
Just one time.
Like, what do you want me to do?
Just one time.
What am I supposed to do?
Just God. Please open the door, God. Oh, thank you. Leonard Skinnard, how are you, buddy? Anyway, my point is, just one time I'd like you to be like, yeah, the Thompson twins were amazing.
Well, if you would stop mentioning bands that were in existence from 77 to 93, the year I was born, then maybe I'd know who they were.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Eamon and Azur Thompson, the basketball players. I don't know. Is what I'd have to watch more tape. I have not watched a lot of tape on them at all.
Yeah.
Numbers I don't know calling me. Stop calling me.
Okay.
Matt Hartley says the OKC Giddey won't give him up. No chance. Della Rick says the Joker is also another one that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Brent Burnett says maybe the Pelicans give up Zion. Stop. Matt Hartley, unless you give up draft picks, Thunder want the entire first round of every one of these years. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. Brett Burnett says, KO fine, but what we want is Joker. He can do it all. Maybe. Maybe the Thompson twins will pair up with the Morris twins. Maybe.
How is that even possible?
You mean you know who Morris Day is? You don't know who Morris Day is?
No.
Morris Day. Oh my God. Do you guys see what I deal with? Jeremy Callahan says, what are you supposed to do? Stop with the excuses, Jake.
What am I supposed to do, bro?
Yeah, hold me now. Thank you, Sam Lott. He knows the Thompson twins.
Yeah, because Sam Lott is an old head in the gym, dude. You guys have that in common, bro.
Okay. Did you just call me fat?
No, I called you old.
Same thing. Teddy Wayman says, gotta go, ladies and gents. Thanks for a great show, Jake and Monty. See you soon, buddy.
See you Friday,
North End Zone Ute says Zion is a walking injury. He is.
Facts, bro. Facts.
You got
Facts.
to take your
Facts.
you got to take your bucked up. Like, how many times have I told Zion Williamson that Bucked Up's the official energy drink of the Monty program?
Hey, Monty.
Right, let's go. Bucked Up Energy. Go get your Bucked Up shaker. They are the best. I'm telling you, this is the best shaker I've ever owned, and they want to give it to you for free. BuckedUp.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off. By the way, if you're in Utah, go to any of their Utah Bucked Up stores. I go to South Jordan. There's one in Murray. Orem's got a great store up in Farmington Station. Down my friends in the Jeezy.
Yeah.
Where are all my guys in the Jeezy? Let's go. Make sure you guys get to the Bucked Up store in St. George. By the way, a week from now, we'll be in Arizona at spring training drinking from our Bucked Up energy drinks.
You know.
I'm just telling you, Bucked Up's the best in the business, and they want to give you free samples and a free shaker just for listening to the Monty program.
The Monty program.
This shaker. I'm telling you, it is the best shaker you will ever use. It's in the links below. All you have to do is click the link that says free samples. Pick any of the samples you want. They are $100 free. You get 3 of them. Get the pre-workout samples. I'm telling you, the Bucked Up pre-workout, nice and level. It doesn't light your face on fire, but you have a better workout. You burn more calories. You go harder at the gym. I'm telling you.
Stay hard.
It is absolutely the way to go. BuckedUp.com. Use the promo code Monty. Get your free samples and your free shaker below. Click the link. Check it out. Select your samples, and you can pick any color shaker that you want. They'll send it right to your front door for free. Hook it up. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Darren Ingram says, if you know HOF sports players, you need to know HOF music too. No excuses. Hall of Fame.
Please.
The Thompson twins are awesome, dude.
Please.
They're awesome. Dan Kinnersley says, Zion on the opposite side of the spectrum from Chet and VW, almost too big to stay healthy. Yeah. Too much load. Too many G's on the knees, dude. Brady Cook says, I wonder who the Jazz will draft. Jeremy Callahan says the Zion curtain. Exactly right. Exactly right. You know what, dude? We have been talking about Zion for years, and he's just never arrived.
Yep.
He's never arrived. It just is.
He's had one good run.
Yeah.
That's it.
Totally agree. All right, can we talk about non-sports? We got like 10 minutes left in the program. I'm telling you, this golf show on
yeah, so you're all about this show.
Full Swing. Is that what it's called, I think? I'm terrible with names.
Yes, it is called Full Swing.
Full Swing on Netflix. So they got me hooked with Brooks Koepka. We were watching an episode, and it was okay. It was good. It was really good. Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth going head-to-head. And the thing that was amazing is they weave in other storylines in the episodes. And one of the storylines was Brooks Koepka struggling. And they essentially told the Koepka story about how he was a dominant player and then he just couldn't hit a golf ball. And he couldn't make a putt and he couldn't hit an iron and he couldn't get up and down. And he went home and was talking to his wife, or soon-to-be wife, Jenna Sims, who, oh my God. And he was like, I don't know that, he said something to the effect of, I don't know how I'm going to get back here. I don't know how I'm going to fix this. It was remarkably honest. You know, the other thing they got me with? Dustin Johnson. Now, Paulina Gretzky, hey, baby. I said, God damn, if you could wear a little less makeup, that'd be fine.
Please.
But she's amazing. But Dustin Johnson joins Live Golf on the show. And he straight up said, it's not rocket science, dude. So let me see. If your job was paying you a certain amount of money and a competitor came up and said, you know, we're going to pay you more money and you're going to have to do less work. Does that sound like something you're interested in?
But you're going to have to be okay with us cutting people's heads off.
I mean, other than that,
jerk.
He straight up said, and I thought he was really honest about it. He's like, I want to
give a big
I want to work less and make more money. Who can't relate to that?
Yeah.
And it's the Saudis, but
don't get me started on it.
But
dude.
it was a remarkable piece of content, and the storytelling was really good. I'm telling you,
I do appreciate he was honest.
Full Swing is an incredible show, and if you haven't seen it on Netflix, if you don't have Netflix, it's worth joining just to watch Full Swing. I love that flipping show.
Yeah, I think it's funny you guys were out on Netflix, and now all of a sudden you're back on the train.
I'm not back on the train, but that show is crazy good.
Yeah.
And now, granted, the Saudis cut people's heads off. I ain't even arguing that. But it was compelling content. And just like they had Damon on and they were talking about how, his mom died of cancer, he had testicular cancer, and he didn't believe in himself. And I mean, it just, every episode has a great story hook, and it's remarkable. And they talk about how guys go on tour and they miss cuts and they don't make any money that week. They talk about how all these guys pay their caddies a salary and a percentage of their winnings.
Mm-hmm.
And when they don't make the cut, they have to pay their caddies anyway. And I mean, it's remarkable to see these lower level guys talking about, hey, you know what? I missed the cut. This is going to kill me financially. And then Damon comes back and finishes top 10 at the U.S. Open and gets a $450,000 paycheck. And it's all good again. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
The mental game. And you guys know, if you've watched a show for any amount of time, you know I get boned over the mental game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a big believer in being mentally tough.
Well, I think in golf, it is the game.
Yeah.
The mental side of the game is the game.
Yeah, and it's why I'm a big David Goggins guy. It's why...
Stay hard!
It's why I'm all into cold plunges, and like I'm all about it because I think it tunes the mental game. And watching these guys struggle mentally when they make it look so easy.
It's internal.
And how many of us have wanted to, like, one of these guys was like on the verge of snapping, like Rory McIlroy was on the show as well.
Yeah.
And he's on the verge of like snapping a shaft in half over frustration of a shot. Who hasn't felt that way?
Yeah.
I've felt that way. I mean, I love it. Jeremy Callahan says, well, the takeaway is it's all in the hips. Exactly right.
Saudi stooge.
Darren Ingram says Drive to Survive is awesome as well. It is. So what are you watching on TV right now?
Mayor of Kingstown. That's what I'm watching.
I did not watch the latest episode of Mayor of Kingstown.
Casual.
Did you watch it yesterday?
No.
No, neither did I. By the way, Jake.
Here we go.
You had a date yesterday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Back in the ball game.
Yeah.
How we living?
Yeah, not bad. Good first date. You know, it was good. It was a nice time. Talked for like 2 hours.
Where'd you take her?
Well, tried to go to my first spot, pizza joint. That didn't work out. Then we went to Shake Shack.
You took your first date to Shake Shack.
It's a backup plan. Can't wait
Love
an hour
it.
and a half, dude. So it was a backup plan.
Where were you gonna go?
We were gonna go to Slackwater because she likes pizza, and that was kind of her idea, her spot, her place, whatever. And I was like,
Love
all right,
Slackwater.
it's gonna be busy. And then we show up. Now I will say she was 10 minutes early. Respect.
She was.
She beat me there. Respect. Owns a Tesla.
Oh God.
So yeah, she's.
Did you talk about driving a Tesla?
No, we talked about her enjoying driving her dad's S2000 that he garages. So
okay,
it was kind of a serious conversation.
But isn't S2000 a deal breaker?
No, she knows how to drive stick. That's pretty good. I mean, it's Honda, so it's trash. But
so Daddy? She knows how to drive stick. Jake, is that are you trying to like drop code on us or something? Or
no.
But how are you excited about an S2000?
Well, because it would be fun to canyon drive together or whatever. I don't know. It'd be fun,
dude. I mean, it's only an S2. It's not that great. Is it great?
Might not be great to you, but that's a fun car. I'm not a Honda guy. I'm not. But an S2000, that's a legend for sure in the car game. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
When did you lower your standards like this?
I'm not lowering them. I'm just telling you it is.
Oh, stop. Okay. Anyway, second date with this girl? Like, what's the story?
Yeah, at some point. She's busy. She's in EMT school, trying to be a fighter, so she's finishing her courses and kind of busy. And we're going to spring training, so
is she hot?
Yeah, yeah, she's a good looking girl. She's not Paulina Gretzky, but
Okay. Do you? By the way, Darren Ingram says also hate Honda. Thank you, Darren.
Yeah, I'm not a Honda
that.
guy.
Thank you very much.
Are
there other prospects?
Not that I've seen, but there are prospects coming. Yeah. They're on the horizon.
Stay hard.
That was a good save. That was a really good save. Jeremy Callahan wants to know what Canyon Drive is. That code for something?
Oh my God, just like that.
Full send, Billy.
Giggity says, better know how to drive stick. That's damn right, you know.
What's up, big bro?
Hey, yo. Jeremy Callahan says, first date again, it's all in the hips.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely wild,
Stay
bro.
hard.
I love, you're all, you know.
But like, so here's my deal. Like, it is Honda, but I'd rather hate Honda, but she knows how to drive stick than just absolutely knows nothing about cars and doesn't enjoy cars.
Yeah, because you can bump her over to a Subaru from a Honda.
Yeah, right.
I said you can.
Hey, at least the Subi can drive in the snow, okay?
The S2000 cannot, by the way.
No.
No. An S2000. No, it's not. No, it's not, Darren. S2000 is
You're
legit.
hating on the S2000, dude.
I'm hating on Hondas.
Yeah.
I'm not a Honda guy.
The S2000 is not a Civic, dude.
Yeah.
The S2000 is a legend.
Yeah, but it's Honda Racing. Don't feel that that's the same. It's not.
It's not.
I don't disagree with you. Okay. So was she a conversationalist? Did you
Yeah.
have to carry the thing?
No.
Who wound up paying?
She offered to split, but I paid because it was Shake Shack. It was like $20. So I was like, all right, cool.
What'd you get?
Oh, chicken sando, fries, lemonade.
What'd she get?
Same. She got parm fries, though.
She did?
Yeah, she got parm fries.
Ooh.
So she got some flair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was, admittedly, it was good. Didn't really, I don't know. I wasn't, see, here's the problem. Can we be honest about Shake Shack?
No, lie about it.
It sucks.
What?
Compared to Super Chicks, it sucks, dude.
Well, everything compared to Super Chicks sucks,
But
dude.
it's like, dude, like, what am I supposed to do with myself? Like, you go to Super Chicks, it ruins the experience of everything else. Like, legit, like, I like the fries better. I like the Sando better. I like the custard shake better. I like, come on, man. That's the problem.
Nothing compares to Super Chicks. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah.
Nothing compares to Super Chicks.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Yeah.
Don't play intramurals, brother.
Okay, so where are you going to take her next?
Not sure yet, dude. We have to legitimately. I probably won't see her till we get back because she's that busy with school.
Oof. So like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
Are you all right with that, or?
Yeah, I'm not getting myself that invested this early, dude. Like it's that takes time. And yes, I do have other prospects on the horizon. So we'll see.
I'm not getting myself invested.
No, that's not what I said. I said not that invested. I am invested. I enjoyed our time. We had a nice time. The conversation was good.
Did you guys get naked?
No.
No. Did she take
Dude, you're an absolute child, bro.
Did she take the peel off the banana?
Dude,
Please.
You are an absolute child, bro.
With all due respect.
Or did she go full Will Levis?
Yeah, she ain't scared of milk. You know what I'm saying?
The Will Levis story. If you're late to the show, it's just look up Will Levis bananas. Trust me, you can.
What else do the comments got? What else the comments got?
Comments got nothing for you. Should we end the show, or should we talk about DeSantis and bloggers?
If you want, I'm not. Yeah, I don't. I'm not really into it, but
Darren, Darren, what are we doing today? Did you wake up on the right side of the bed or something?
No, my guy.
He says
understands the
agree,
game, dude.
From Vegas, Shake Shack is overrated by a
Dust
lot.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're trying to compare it to Super Chicks.
Okay, well, is that not a fair comparison? They're
No,
both fast
that's
casuals.
like
They're both-
comparing a gold brick to a dollar bill. They're totally different. They're totally different.
Yes.
One you can find in a dumpster. The other one is like a 5-star Michelin restaurant.
Okay.
And she took offense.
Let's relax a little bit. Crispy's like, nah, bro, end it. The chicken sandwich at Shake Shack is legit. For
is
fast
a good
food, it's
chicken-
legit.
But whoa,
Yes, it is.
Dude, stop.
Don't.
Dude, you're trying to make it like they shouldn't be compared to Super Chicks.
They shouldn't be.
Why?
Because
they're both fast
they're
casuals, no drive-through, bro.
God.
It's competition, dude.
Okay, if you view Shake Shack and Super Chicks the same way, just run your face into a table saw. Seriously, flip on the table saw. That, or get out your Vita blender and just stick your finger into the Vita blender. It's just your whole fist. They're two totally different things. Okay. Super Chicks is the creme de la your mom. Like,
I will do it.
You will do what?
I just took my lightsaber out.
Oh, God, here we go. Did you take your lightsaber out on the date? Does she know you do this show?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Rate her on a scale of 1 to 10.
Dilly.
Don't.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
Don't. You know. Anyway. All right, I guess Ron DeSantis wants bloggers who are going to write about him to register with the state.
Wait, so that sounds like a constitutional violation, does it not?
Yeah, well, it's Florida, so of course it is. So let me ask you this. Part of Full Swing, people living in Florida. Would you ever consider living in Florida?
No.
You wouldn't. I would.
Because of DeSantis alone.
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
I'm not kidding.
Okay, so I don't have a way to overcome that because you're correct. But Florida, if Ron DeSantis or Florida man or many other things.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go golfing and have an alligator chew my leg off, dude.
Did you see that video of the alligator eating the shark?
Yeah, dude.
Oh
like,
my
I'm
God.
not here for that, bro.
Can you measure it?
Yeah,
no,
no.
I can't because he ate it off my knee. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what bothers me about Florida is I'm sure it's a wonderful place to live, you know, outside of the fact that the hurricane's going to put your house in Maine. But, you know, other than that, it's a fine place to live. I just would rather be in California. I like California. Yes, it's super expensive. Yes, there are certain political figures there that I'm not a huge fan of. But at least in California, I'm not getting hurricanes. You know what I mean? Like, at least in California, I can drive my S2000 down the 405 and not think about it. Like,
get an M. Get a BMW. Get something that's not a Honda.
People can't afford M's. People can't afford Audis. We're not all like you, okay?
Darren Ingram says,
Damn.
hell yes, cheap and great beaches. No income tax, Kinnersley says, is huge. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So I think yes, Jeremy, if you don't know where this is from, damn, an alligator bit my hand off.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
Okay.
Where's it from?
I'm not telling you.
Let's look it up.
Darren Ingram says, down the 405 at 15 miles an hour. Okay. You can be stuck in traffic on the 4. Oh, my God. Yes, you can. Yeah. Giggity says, Jake, bro.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not cultured. I get it. Yeah, I'm not cultured.
Florida is a different world. Having been to Florida quite a few times in my life, Florida is a different world. I hate humidity, and I don't like crack sweat. So I don't know that I don't know that I could.
What am I supposed to say to crack sweat, dude?
Well,
what, like, we already know your team squat, so let me get this right. So you're going to squat on the beach to soak up the crack sweat?
No, because then you get a churro. The point is, wow. The point is, the humidity is the issue in Florida. In California, there's too many damn people. The regulations are too much.
The fuck
and it's so expensive to live there.
Come on.
It is so expensive to live there.
You're not an East Coaster, dude. Come on.
Yeah, probably not.
Come on.
I don't disagree with you. But I don't know.
I'm not a Florida guy, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not.
But I am a fan of the Big 5-0 birthday bash with Brant Keithy and Max Tooley. That is going to be this Friday right here at the Maverick Center as the Utah Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks. Super excited. Our guy Darren, Canyons Golf, the official golf
and his
course.
Ford Bronco.
Oh yeah, Darren's going to be there. Our PXG guy. Whoa,
Garrett from PXG.
Garrett from PXG is going to be there with putters. We are going to. This is a pretty much turned into a golf event.
Yeah.
At a hockey game.
Yeah.
With football players.
Yeah.
And Mexican food.
You guys are kick it, we'll flow.
It's what we do. We are going to have a mini golf course set up inside of the Centennial Room upstairs here at Maverick Center. So you can watch hockey, you can play mini golf, or you can go down. Everybody gets a ticket, right? But I shouldn't even be describing this, by the way, because, well, we're out of room. But we are going to play mini golf. We're going to have an awesome custom cake, awesome Mexican food, enchiladas, tacos. It's going to be amazing. Mini golf, Brant Keithy from Utah, Max Tooley from BYU. We're going to hang out with those guys. They're going to actually drop the ceremonial first puck on Friday night here at the Mav. It is going to be outstanding. And again, we have all kinds of door prizes. You're going to get somebody's going to win a season pass at Canyons Golf. We have free rounds of golf at Canyons Golf. And if you don't know Canyons Golf, it has been completely rebuilt. It is the views, the greens. I mean, it is creme de la creme, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is everything you want in a golf course. I am super stoked to play it this year. Next year because of all the snow.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It is going to be an amazing night. Thanks to our friends at Canyons Golf. Thanks to our friends at PXG. Thanks to our friends here at the Maverick Center because it's going to be amazing. And thanks to Brant Keithy and Max Tooley. And then Saturday, the Stanley Cup's going to be at the Maverick Center. And I cannot wait. By the way, 143 of you are watching this. I need a favor. So we are looking to make somebody's day on Friday night. We're looking for somebody who is, I don't know, maybe down on their luck, but they're a huge hockey fan. Maybe they're a huge Colorado Avalanche fan. Maybe having the Stanley Cup come to their house on Friday night would be remarkable. Maybe it would change their outlook. Maybe they're struggling with their health. Maybe they're struggling physically and they just need a bump. And maybe having the Stanley Cup show up at their front door would make all the difference in the world. We're looking for somebody to change their perspective, to really make a difference in their life on Friday night. And I know it's odd. The Cup doesn't get into town until like 8, so it wouldn't be probably till like 9:30. But we'd really love to bring this to somebody who needs it, who, man, it would put a smile on their face.
Yeah.
It would just make their day to have the Stanley Cup in their living room because they're dealing with something. They're struggling with something. DM me, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show on Instagram or Twitter. Tell us a story. Let us help you. Let us help your mom, your dad, your best friend, your neighbor, your coworker, your old science teacher. Who's somebody that's a big hockey fan that would not be able to believe that the Stanley Cup could be coming to their house?
Yes.
It's going to be in town, and we have the ability to put it anywhere we want. The Grizzlies are an amazing organization that is community-based, and they want to help somebody. They want to make somebody's day. So who is that in your life? Who needs that? Who is, who is just struggling? Who just needs it? Let's make somebody's day. Let's make somebody's life.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do. How can we change somebody's outlook? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking for somebody that's a huge hockey fan. Maybe a huge Colorado Avalanche fan. DM me. Let's see if we can make somebody's day.
Yeah.
Somebody's life. And if you know somebody, like I said, it doesn't matter their story. If they're struggling with their health, if somebody's struggling with cancer or whatever it is, if somebody is just down on their luck and they need that thing, let's give it to them. Let's bring the Stanley Cup to their house. Now, obviously, they need to know what the Stanley Cup is. They need to be a hockey fan. And I know I'm looking for a needle in a haystack here.
Yeah.
But let's help somebody. Let's do this. Let's make this something.
Please.
Where we can do anything we want. So let's do something great. Let's do something for somebody.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. And we didn't find out about this until today. So if you know somebody, DM me, please. The Monty Show. MONTY, The Monty Show. DM me. Let's hook it up.
Yeah, I think it's a big opportunity. There's 300,000 of you that listen to the show on a monthly basis. There's someone out there who knows someone.
Now, before we leave, all 123 of you, please hit the like button. That really helps the channel grow. It really helps the video grow. We've had over 3,000 people watch this show today, and we only have 230 likes.
Yeah.
So let's hook it up. Jeremy Callahan says, very cool. Richard McDonald says, basketball only. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what are you talking about, dude?
Russ Fisher says, stay in Utah. Florida, it blows. Blows, and not just the wind, rain, and sweat your balls off while blowing. Exactly right.
Not interested.
Exactly right. Alex says, we really want to move to Florida.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
You know. Okay. There you go. The Monty Show presented by The Advocates. TheAdvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, where you don't pay the advocates until they win your case. You can chat with an attorney live online for free, 24/7, 365, theadvocates.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on The Monty Show. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.